But come on, these views. 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 Flip it. But come on, these views. 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 But come on, these views.
Oh yeah, speaking of ready, this is the moment you guys have all been waiting for. Takedown TV. I don't know, Andy, can you help me out at all with that? I think she's a pretty awesome person. We met her once or twice maybe somewhere. I feel like we've heard of her. I think. Do you know, Andy?
Come on,
I feel like you would know.
these views.
I heard she's into Mexican food and spin dip. Probably. Probably. How's everyone doing out there, guys? Welcome. Welcome back to the vault. Happy to have you guys all here. This is going to be an absolutely awesome, fantastic time, and I can't wait. Been waiting for these moments, and let me tell you what, we're excited. Takedown was a wonderful spirit to meet down at PAX South. We actually ran into her on the street along with Mr. Pack. And we were down there at PAX South. I was trying to get a controller signed, and I happened to notice that she had, you know, like the little mixer partner. You know, Mr. Pack had the whole like mixer partner little hanging badge, and I'm like, oh my God, there's more mixer partners. About to swing up and try and see if we can get some more controller signs. And it was a great experience. Like, they were just very, very down to earth, very, very humble people. And it was great. It was great to meet new friends. You know, it was definitely an experience down there at PAX South, just to see people, to enjoy people, and to really get to understand, you know, what mixer partners stand for, what the community stands for, and how far this world stretches. And so I'm incredibly excited to bring on Takedown TV for a wonderful moment to get to know who she is, how she got here, how she continues to be absolutely fantastic in the world of mixers. So without further ado, Takedown TV. Hello! How are you? Hi! You're doing well, I presume. Wait, you can't hear anything. Wait, what? Wait. I'm getting audio. Wait, Takedown, can you what's going on? Why is that? Oh, I got it. I accidentally muted. Normal stuff.
I can't hear him.
Normal stuff. All right, there we go. That's my fault. Takedown! Hello!
Hello. I couldn't hear you, so I just waved at you. I know you can see me.
The little things, right? Always the important stuff. You got to remember to hit the unmute button. That would help.
Yeah, pro streamer. That's how you know. That's how you know.
So, as we were saying, Takedown TV. So, Takedown, how are you? How's everything going? How's your wonderful experience so far?
I'm good.
Awesome.
It's been raining in Florida for like a month now, I feel like, so I kind of want some sunshine again. That would be really nice.
I used to live down in Florida. It was literally, thank you guys so much, by the way, for all the hearts. I used to live down in Florida, and it was like, what? You had an absolute rainstorm that would show up like at 2 o'clock every single day, just downpour all over you, and then be gone in 15 minutes, and you'd go back to being like bright sunshine as all hell.
Sunny again. Yep.
So like normal everyday stuff.
Go undercover, and then it'll stop, and then everybody else leaves, and then you have the beach to yourself. It's perfect.
Right. The normal everyday Florida weather. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a little crazy like that, and it's a little absurd like that. But so have you always lived there? Have you always been around that area?
I lived in California for a couple of years when I was younger, but I was like a baby. But most of my life has been spent in South Florida or in Orlando, Florida when I went to college.
Oh, Orlando. Wait, so you went to school in Orlando. What school did you go to, if you don't mind saying?
I went to Valencia College.
Okay.
I went for music production and technology, and then I didn't think that was going to work out. Took a couple of years off, went back, and then I have a degree in hospitality tourism and management now.
I went to Full Sail, so very.
Full Sail, right down the street. I used to live like walking distance from Full Sail.
Yeah. I was.
I really wanted to go there, but I never did. I was like,
dude, it was. I just paid off the rest of my school debt from back in 2008, like last year.
Yeah,
so
Full Sail's expensive. That's why I tried something else. Yeah, I want to do that instead.
Yeah, no, yeah, there are probably a couple hammers here. Who knows? But no, it was a good experience, honestly. Like Orlando's a little crazy. The weather's definitely a weird climate to get used to, but it was fun. All the things considered, it was a very, very fun experience. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that I got that opportunity. But so wait, music production.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanted to make music?
No, I was kind of more like behind the scenes. So music production and sound technology. So, people that do the soundboards and set up the wires and help, put everything together, all the instruments, all the mics and hooking everything up properly and then running soundboards for yourself and stuff like that. And it was really cool. It was fun.
So let me get this straight. You know your way around a digital mixing system?
Gosh, it's been a long time since I've played with one, but I could probably figure it out if I had a little bit of time. It's been a long time.
And all this time, wow, all this time I've been sitting here trying to figure out how I can get everything all set up and ready to go for lights and lasers and all that nonsense. And you've been here this whole time.
Yes. I'm curious to like most other things though, so very little knowledge with it.
Well, no,
I freak stuff. I'm very not PC knowledgeable.
Well, that's fine. Like, I just honestly, on the back end, I've always been trying to find something for digital mixing equipment, so that way I can incorporate lights and lasers with all the lights and everything that I already have. And so, trying to get everything all set up and ready to go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been trying to find someone who just knows their way around a digital mixer and a mixing board that I can at least like bounce an idea off of, like, is this possible? Can I do this? What's the best way to do this? So that's actually really, really eventful. Thank you for the knowledge piece. So if you don't mind, tell us how you got started into streaming then, coming from such a diverse background. Like, what got you here? How did you decide on Mixer?
All right. I love this story. So, I was a waitress for a couple years because, like, music didn't work out for me. Took a couple years off, got my hospitality degree, moved down and was working restaurant to restaurant. And, I was a valued employee at every restaurant that I worked at, but I wasn't necessarily treated like I was. And it was getting to the point where I was, I was over it. I hated it. Whatever, I was already kind of down with what I was doing, and all the corporate restaurants I was working in, it's so hard to move up, and I couldn't really, as a waitress, there's not a lot of places to go for that. And I have a degree in management, and I've managed multiple places, so it was starting to get old, and I was getting burned out. And then I bought my boyfriend at the time an Xbox for his birthday. It was either Christmas or his birthday. I bought him an Xbox. And I found Mixer. Because I grew up with PlayStations, and we didn't have an Xbox, and I bought him an Xbox because he wanted one at the time, and he would play a lot of PUBG, and he would like turn on Mixer because we don't have cable, so he was like, oh, well, there's this cool app, it's kind of like Twitch, whatever, but it's right here, and you just open up whatever, and we started to watch a lot of Mixer, and I was watching so many different people play, PUBG. I was really into PUBG at the time, but I was too scared to play it alone. So I loved watching people play it because I'm very skittish. Like, my community knows I'm skittish. I get scared. PUBG alone was too much for me. So I would watch people play. And I probably spent a couple months on Mixer, being a part of people's communities, getting to know them. And it felt like family, and it felt so welcoming and so opening. And like, people were so kind and open-hearted. And I was just like, man, I really want to try this. Like, I come home from work every single day, crack a beer and play Call of Duty. Every single day. I was like, so why don't I just like try to do this and make friends in the process? Because, right now I'm doing it, by myself, or maybe I'll have a friend or two or a coworker that'll be on at the time, but I really did it because I wanted to make friends. And I saw the communities that other streamers had built that inspired me. And then that's kind of how it started. Yeah.
So when you say inspired, like you're talking about the fact that you were skittish or scared that it was a rough time, kind of, getting started up. What kind of challenges have you overcome or transitioned through as an individual getting into streaming? What does streaming help you to accomplish personally?
Well, I've always been like really personable. I've always kind of had, I'm loud, I'm proud, you know who I am. If you don't like me, bye, that's fine. But I've always had a personality, so it wasn't necessarily, I wasn't scared to try like streaming, but like, it was funny because that's how I got kind of pushed into it, because I don't think I would have ever found like Mixer or streaming like if it wasn't for, buying the Xbox for Chris, and like, I would watch him play PUBG, but I was scared to play the game alone. Like, I was physically scared to play the game alone, but I loved the game. So I would like open up Mixer and watch people play for hours and hours and hours. And because I was just too scared to play the game by myself, and I wanted to play and I wanted to learn how to do it. And that's just how I found Mixer, like, all together. And it was just the craziest thing because it was stumbled upon, and I would never in a million years think to say that I do this full time. Like, I've been doing this full time for over a year now. And it still like shocks me every day that I get to wake up and live my dream job when this is something that was never in the cards. It was never there. It was never something thought about. It just was spontaneous, and it worked. And I feel very lucky, and I feel very blessed that it worked out, because it doesn't happen so quickly for so many people. And I just think that it was so cool that I kind of just took a jump and I said, okay, I want to do this, let's do this. and it ended up, I'm here now. So I don't know, that's really cool.
Well, I think it's a fantastic experience, and I think that there's a lot of things that end up happening from, you know, creator to creator, from individual to individual, that change and motivate us to continue to do this. And I know at like a core for me, community is such a big stance, and you have such an open and loving community, and it's cool because a lot of times, you know, that I've been in the channel, you guys have a lot of banter back and forth that you guys just kind of can give each other crap and take it with a stride and move on and continue playing together. And it's fun to see that you guys can still have a relationship that is focused so wholeheartedly on respect while still being, you know, funny about it, as it were, as Andy's putting it, just rage. But
I mean, there's a fine line with it because, you know, a lot of us have known each other for a long time. I've known Andy for almost 2 years now. And, you know, he's modded for me almost the whole time. You know, Call Sign I've known for a really long time. Like, a lot of these people I've known over a year. So we're very comfortable with each other, and we shoot the shit and we go back and forth. But we're very careful about how we do it because sometimes people see us go back and forth and they think that it's okay that they can join in too. So we try to let people know that it's only okay if you really have a relationship with that person or a friendship or you're, you know, close in the community. Like, there's some people that, you know, they're not mods or they're not, you know, but they're regulars and they're around enough where we're comfortable shooting the shit back and forth. But we don't want people joining the community and, like, if somebody new comes in and they come in and they're like, oh yeah, F Andy type of thing. Like, that's going to be unacceptable because you don't know him, you don't know us. Like, you can't,
right.
Not like that. So it is a fine line of, you know, us doing our banter and how we are and making sure that other people don't think it's okay. Like, we let everybody know, like, we're a family and we're a community and we're very close, but that's why we are the way we are, because we've become so close, because I have such a tight-knit community. So many of us speak. I mean, every single day I talk to at least 20 to 30 people from my community every single day. Like,
right.
Whether it's Discord or personal messages and Twitter or whatever, I'm constantly there and I'm constantly around. And I always have been, and I think that's what built such a strong community, is because I've always been there. No matter what, offline, online, I'm there.
So, and I think, you know, I think you bring up a fine point, and, you know, you and I have discussed it, that, you know, like we live in a growing age, and I think not only the struggle with COVID, but the struggle with the movement right now is that we're continuing to see how we as individuals can grow. And I think that streaming in general and seeing these communities that exist out there, regardless of whatever platform it's on, Twitch or Mixer, you know, whatnot, you're continuing to see some of the challenges that not only a streamer faces, but a community faces, and how we can influence positively for the future of mankind, for the future of human race, the human race as a whole. And so, like, when you're thinking about those times that you've sat there, the times that, you know, you've got an opportunity to make a difference, that, you know, you've got an opportunity to stand. I know that you said that you aren't a quiet person, which is very, very evident. I don't know how often, you know, other people have been out there, but I would recommend that you go watch Takedown play Apex, and you'll understand what I mean. But it's one of those situations that, like, you know, we have a platform or a soapbox to stand on, and it is a fine line. So where do you think that line is drawn in the sand when you're talking about, you know, the potential to educate someone, to nurture someone, and let them know, like, hey, this is something that we can do, and this is something that we can't do? Where do you think that line stands?
Well, I haven't found it yet. I've always been very vocal. So for me, and this is funny because before all of this kind of went down, you know, in another interview that I had, you know, I said the same thing. I've always been vocal about other stuff. I've been vocal about things before I started streaming. You know, every year for the past 5 or 6 years, I've raised money for autism. Just through, like, oh, it's your birthday, you're gonna raise money, whatever, no matter what. Like, I've always been trying to raise money, or, you know, we used to go to the dog shelter and walk the dogs and help the dogs in the shelter, and it was like, it's not, I don't know, like, I've always been this way, so it's not hard for me to, I don't know, like, it's not different for me. Like, Autism Awareness Month, it was in my title all the time, like, I had it on my stream. people were coming in and saying terrible things, and like, we were just trying to raise awareness and raise money. And my big thing has been like, I've always had a voice, but I've never had a platform with so many people behind me that also want to do good things, is like the best way to put it. Like, and now that I have these people in there just as loving and kind-hearted as I am, that it's a lot easier to speak out or speak on other matters. And I mean, with everything going on right now, it's, you know, a lot of people are afraid to lose community members, subs, and they don't want to talk about it because, you know, they're scared. I haven't had to ban one person from my community. We've talked about it in the Discord. We've talked about it on stream. I mean, I've had a whole like 1 hour discussion about it on stream where we just took the time to talk about it. And we haven't had any problems, but I feel that's because the community that we've built, we're all alike, and we all found each other because we feel the same, or we are the same. And like, that's why I say I haven't found the line yet, because I haven't really had to banter back and forth or try to teach somebody. Everybody's so open-minded. Everybody's there to listen to me speak. And they're there to listen to other people speak. I know I took off Blackout Tuesday to specifically only host Black content creators. So if people in my community don't necessarily understand, they could hear it from a perspective of somebody who's lived through it and dealt with it. So we took the day off to do that, because yes, I have a voice and I could say as much as I want, but I look white as hell. I don't deal with it. I'm Hispanic. The only time I get any type of hell is when people see my last name. I'll get screened at airports because I'm Hispanic, and stuff like that. But that's only when they see my last name. If they physically see me, they don't say, oh, she's Mexican. It's, you know, she looks like a little white girl from South Florida, you know, type of thing. I don't have to deal with it. So that's why it was important for me to have a voice with them, but I also want my community to know to listen to other people of color and hear what they have to say, and sit back and listen and learn and educate yourself. And then maybe after that, and getting to know what they have to say, maybe you'll want to stand up too, and maybe you'll want to, because you've educated yourself, speak out.
Well, and I agree wholeheartedly with that. I think education and understanding are the foundation to growth of the future, the potential of the future, because a lot of times it's just ignorance. And ignorance isn't, it can be a negative thing, but ignorance a lot of times is not a negative thing, because it's the opportunity for learning. That they just don't know any better. A person doesn't understand what's going on, and they have an opportunity to grow as an individual with the understanding or the, you know, the teaching of a person who may have a little bit more insight. And I think what creates it to being a negative experience is the person who you know, views that as like, oh, well, they don't know, and so therefore I don't like them. No one's taught them. And so I think it's strong of you, and I think it's so strong of your character to take the time to educate, to let people know that there are other options, there are other avenues, and I might not have all the answers, and that someone else has an answer about what they've lived, what they've had to deal with in order to educate us, in order to educate us further, to help us grow, not only as a society, but again, like as for the future, because this isn't just fix it now. Again, as you and I have discussed, this is something that we have to teach our children, that their children have to teach their children, and over and over, so on and so forth, in order to continue to educate and educate and educate, so that we can learn to love and respect each other. And I think you bring up a great point when you're talking about, like, you know, we've taken the time to understand where we are in a relationship, that I can sit there and banter with Andy back and forth, and I know it's coming from a place of understanding or love or appreciation. Like, yeah, I can say he's a dick, as people say, you know, like in chat, and it's still okay, because he knows that I don't mean it. You know, the other people in chat that have been there know that they don't mean it, that it's coming from a place of interest and love, you know, like, yeah, we're just having fun together. And so I think it's beneficial for you to harbor those relationships, not only inside your community, but outside of your community, for the good and protection of your community and their understanding. And I think that Mixer has a lot of opportunity to grow that potential. And what I love about Mixer most personally is that our community is so strong. When you go to a place like Twitch or Facebook or YouTube, like you hear about it a lot and you see it a lot, that, the chat's just kind of lit up with, I would say, a lack of understanding and a lack of sympathy around a lot of topics. And so I think, Mixer has a lot of potential there. But, when you're thinking about it, it's up to the creator to do it. But what else do you think Mixer could do to continue not only keeping that mindset at the front of the conversation table, when someone's considering what platform they want to stream on, Mixer or Twitch or, whatever, how do we as a platform continue to nurture that mentality and that ideology that we are here to grow people, to grow communities, to grow individuals, instead of just playing games?
I think it's different for everybody. I think that there's people that see it that way, and then there's people that see it for money, and then there's people that see it as there's so many different ways, because I've come across so many different people that treat every single situation and everything differently, and I feel that it's this topic with Mixer right now it's very stressful. It's really hard. And I was talking about it with Chris this morning, my roommate, and we were talking.
If you can't discuss anything, then feel free.
Well, it's just like, it's not anything negative, but it's how I feel.
Okay.
And if you scroll through Twitter, there's so much going on in the world right now. And right now there's a lot of negativity of, Mixer versus Twitch, and it always constantly feels like it's a division, or people are dividing each other, and even, other Mixer partners are fighting with other Mixer partners, and it's so disheartening to see that. I feel that what's going on right now is actually dividing Mixer as a platform more than it needs to be. You have people screenshotting each other's tweets and quoting them and bashing them, and they're bashing each other, and they're throwing names out, and it's so sad. And I just wanted to cry this morning when I opened Twitter and saw so much of it, because I know that me and my friends and the community that I've built and their communities, we're all very close, and we're all very together, and we discuss things and whatnot. And to just see so much bad going on outside of what we have, it's really hard to see, because we don't really deal with that a lot. It's a lot of love and, goodness and whatever between like all of our communities. I mean, I know so many people that are a part of my community that are now partners that weren't partnered when we met a year and a half ago, and everybody's come so far, and we all get along. So I don't really necessarily see the negative all the time. And when I got on Twitter and I just saw it, it's fighting and bashing, and it's so heartbreaking, because everything that we could be doing right now to come together, it seems like it's tearing us apart more, and it sucks.
Well, and I think it's a touchy subject, only in the sense that you're coming out of the back of a lockdown. People are already pent up. They already feel aggravated. They already feel pushed to the edge. And some people are struggling economically. Some people are struggling mentally. Whatever those challenges may be, we continue to push the boundaries of our own personal limitations. And then that ends up hurting our acceptance, or our opportunity to, I would say, work or understand different viewpoints, work or understand how we could, quote unquote, come together. And I think that at the core of it, love and respect ends up being the opportunity. I think that as long as we work to seek understanding, as long as we work to seek love in the interest of our own growth as a society, then we could sit there and have a discussion, regardless, from partner to partner, person to person, doesn't matter. Whatever political side you're on, same thing. That you could sit there and have a discussion without necessarily having to bash a person. But there are standalone facts. There are things that we know that we need to change today. There are things that we need to definitely grow as a society to come together more. Like, for example, this movement, I definitely think that it has some strong foundations. Now, I think that personally, just my personal viewpoint, I think that there are some issues on both ends of the spectrum that do not come from a place of respect or love. That we could stand to work together, quote unquote, and operate in any sense. Now, I think that we all need to take a stand for the point of black lives, because they do matter, and we do need to fix that principle before we can focus on the entirety of everything. But we do not need harm on either side doing it. That's my personal view. And that goes back to the point of focusing on love and respect. And I think that there are, as I've seen, as you've stated, people on Twitter who are going out of their way to destroy another person's reputation, to quote, to bring people down. And I think that's the society of that kind of cancel culture. And I think at the foundation or the base of it, we see a lot of people who are interested in their own growth, who don't want to see the success of another person. And they will do whatever it takes to try and succeed. And I think that's the challenge. As you've stated earlier, that some people are in this for different reasons. Some people are in it for money. Some people are in it for fame. Some people are in it for love. Some people are in it for, whatever that may be. I know that the reason that I got into it was as an opportunity to make sure that we had a positive place to be. And I continue to see that from your character, a positive place to be. You can see that from, as you've stated, the charity foundations, things like that you've tried to help raise, to try and draw attention to. And you've done that outside of work, inside of work, whatever, inside of this being work, just to clarify, outside of work, inside of work. And you continue to do that. I mean, just the other day, I can't remember how much you raised. What was it, $5,000, $6,000 in that stretch that you guys did together? And that was for a mixer push, right?
It was about $6,000 for our community, $5,700 I think we raised.
And so Andy made the point that, while some people don't think that that's enough, like every bit counts. And I think it's just the same with the sentences that we share with each other. Every sentence matters. Every word matters. So when you're sitting there thinking,
we do charity. We do charity. We're vocal.
Yep. I
mean, we try to cover all the bases. We're vocal on social media. We're vocal on the stream. And it's how we've always been. And it's not just with this. It's with everything. I mean, I've celebrated Pride every year. I love Pride. Usually it's June. Usually, we're downtown celebrating Pride with drinks. So that's probably not going to happen now. And every year, for stream, I paint 2 Pride flags on my face. And what I said is, it didn't feel right celebrating Pride this month when other people don't have the same equalities. So how could you go and celebrate Pride and say, oh, yay, we're doing this, when somebody else is being hurt and being killed for no reason and everything else that you went through? How could you celebrate when they're still going through it? Which is why I decided to do the BLM on one side of my face and the Pride flag on the other for my streams, because it didn't feel right to celebrate Pride without also trying to make a stand and make a movement on everything else. Because, the whole Pride movement started with a Black trans woman, and people tend to forget that. So there's no reason to push that aside, because you wouldn't be where you are today if it wasn't for a Black trans woman. So you need to celebrate all of that and come together and do this together.
Well, and I think that it's those words that we think about. It's the struggles that people have gone through and that level of understanding that really help us change and shape the future. And I think that streamers have a unique place in that position, because we end up hearing some of those stories or struggles that people have gone through, and we can relay those back to other people. I know that, in bringing on Migos Moo, we had a lot of people that were in our community that had just never interacted with a person of the trans community. That they were from a small town, less than 1,000 people. Hey, we've just never run into that. If they existed, they weren't vocally present about it, so we just didn't know, or we hadn't met them, whatever it may have been. And because of that struggle, like a lot of people in my community have been able to understand or learn more about some of those issues that you deal with. And I think that, like I said, we as streamers offer a lot of potential to share that information, share that wealth of information with other people, to educate them and to help build for tomorrow. And I'm so blessed. I feel so blessed that Mixer offers not only that opportunity, but almost it seems like a potential or a focus as a category. I mean, I see some things here and there on Twitch that, you know, like they want to focus on for, let's say, Pride Month or Black History Month, or, you know, whatever it may be. Like, I've seen their banners on the website, but I think Mixer, with the amount of the support that they put towards it, from mental awareness to autism to pride to whatever topic, we as a platform do focus a lot on the wide varieties of different inclusive cultures that we can bring in and educate people about them, continue to push the narrative and drive attention and understanding around that. And I think it's nice to see other communities that continue to do that, continue to focus on those issues and be okay with talking about them, because that allows for people to come in and feel safe and comfortable. So Shrouded posted the other day and said the other day, quotably, that, you know, Mixer's playing the long game, and a couple other people have said it too. Mixer's playing the long haul. Microsoft is playing the long haul, in that, yeah, you know, Twitch has been around since 2006, 2008, whatever it was, and they've been in this for a really, really long time. They know what they're doing, and yeah, Microsoft's kind of stealing some of the playbooks. Facebook and YouTube been around longer than, you know, Mixer has or Beam has, and so it's going to take time for us to grow. But I think, personally, regardless of the divisiveness that we're currently facing, you know, you see some of those partners leaving from Mixer to Twitch, some people from Twitch coming over to Mixer. I think that the divisiveness, all things aside, we're aiming for the future and we're building for the future in these, I would say, understanding and growing communities that look at all different walks of life, all different races, all different genders, everything, and try and include as many people as possible. And I think that's personally the long play. Mm-hmm. So what do you think Mixer stands to gain most in their level of inclusion or their level of community drive and focus? How do you think that they could market that to really say that, you know what, we are a step better without sounding overly prideful?
I feel like they could do more showcasing of streamers. You know, because there's so many streamers that really are community based and are community driven, and people might not ever find them or ever be able to see them because, you know, maybe they're hidden on the platform, maybe they're pushed back in a directory, or, you know, maybe they're a partner that has lower views, but their content is on point, but people can't come across them because they're kind of still stuck down there. I feel like, I don't know, maybe just like clips from all these different people and showing their personalities and how they interact with their communities could really draw people to the platform. Because, you know, I have so many people that come into my chat from Twitch and go, you know, I'm new to Mixer, and then they're like, holy crap, you're reading the chat. And I'm like, yeah, what do you mean? And then they're like, people don't read chats on Twitch, people don't talk to you, people don't interact with you, you know, and I'm sitting there answering every single message, and so many other streamers are the same way. And I feel like the interaction of Mixer streamers and how they interact with their communities and how close they are would be the best way to show everybody else, because some people don't see it and they don't know because they've never come over here and they've never tested it or they've nenever been in a chat, and they just don't know how kind everybody is and how, you know, open-hearted and, you know, open with their communities they are. And that's if they genuinely saw people genuinely doing what they're thinking, not like let's put you in a movie studio and take a Mixer ad. Like, show real content creators and show, you know, their real community and how they interact on stream by like taking clips from things they're doing without you knowing they're doing it, type of thing, and showcase more of that, because that could really bring more people to the platform when they see how interactive it is and how different it is and how you could play with people on mixed play boards and all that fun stuff. There's so many different ways.
So in theory, focusing on, I mean, I know, ironically enough, that you bring it up. I don't know if you've seen, but some of the clip features have started to become available for non-partners as well.
Yes, I think I saw something on Twitter.
But I'm very, very excited about that, because that would actually align with what you're talking about, that some of those moments that, you know, an individual, a streamer, a creator might talk about, you know, in relation with the community, you know, and they're just sitting there having a chat, you know, talking about more important factors than just, you know, like, hey, look at this headshot I got, which, you know, cool. But some of those things that, again, showcase community, if Mixer were to push that as a narrative, and I have seen them do that previously with partner clips, you know, that
They were
this
doing
isn't.
it for a while, and it was fun. I mean, that's how the partner clips they were posting on Twitter when they did it for that tiny little bit. That's how I found Miss Fun Size. And I've known her for a couple months, and I saw her clip on Twitter, and it had me laughing so hard. And I was like, oh, she's got a personality like me. And I like bleeped her mouth out. It was funny, and it made me laugh. And I said, how have I not found her yet? You know,
Right.
found her, went to her channel, spent some time in there, and laughed my ass off for a good like 15 to 20 minutes. And I was like, I'm so happy I found her. But I wouldn't have found her, I don't think, if it wasn't for the clip that I saw on Twitter. You know, because I got to see her personality. I got to see how she interacted and her gameplay. So it drew me to her, and it was someone that I found. Because sometimes, you know, you're scrolling through, you see a thumbnails, and you're just going to keep going. You know, if you really, people usually will go into a stream and spend 10 seconds and then leave. They don't even give you an opportunity to show you what they have.
Right.
So if you could take like a great 30-second clip of somebody's personality, gameplay, and just having fun all around, it's a good way to showcase them and bring other people to find them.
And I would agree. I think that there's, and maybe, just maybe, you know, looking for volunteer support, or I think, you know, like posting clips and then being able to share them across social media is going to be a large part of the growth of the future. And I think that, you know, like as you've stated, if a platform becomes available so that way they can use a clip, post it up on Twitter, and then it starts to gain traction because of their interaction, because of the viewpoint, because of their humor, because of their entertainment value, whatever it may be, then that's allowing a viewer, allowing a channel, allowing a community to start getting that exposure that they weren't able to get previously. And so I think that that's definitely one of the primary steps that Mixer can use to get more names out there. But I still think they stand to gain in, you know, if you're looking at the Mixer main page right now, how it's kind of changed to layout is like, you know, you see like partner spotlights, and then a lot of the, like top streams, and then you see some showcases by categories. So like, let's say for example, when Half-Life Alyx came out, they had that up on there. You know, it was a brand new game. There were only like 7 people even streaming that game, you know, because VR is a lot of times hard for people to watch because of motion sickness and things like that. But regardless, you know, like if they continue to do that, but just chose, let's say, 2 random popular categories and 1 random unpopular category, and pulled in the top 4 streams to put in those boxes, you know, right across that row, then it might allow for that exposure. Another thing that they could do would be to, let's say, hypothetically, take a stream and then look at the amount of messages that are being posted, make an algorithm for how positive those messages might be, and then showcase that on the front page. If they're saying like, holy crap, a lot of people are reacting to this and there's only 10 people that are even in here, how is it that this person is getting so much attention? Well, the content, something must be going on. Let's go check it out. So they do, and then they end up showcasing it. I think it would be an opportunity, but that all revolves around that clip idea, that exposure of that small window of that 10 seconds that a user has, or a viewer has, where they're interested or not interested in content. So I think that we stand to gain a lot in the future around growth. But where do you see Mixer really changing things in the next 5 years? What shocking feature do you think might end up happening, might end up really changing the game for Mixer?
I honestly have no idea.
Okay.
I just know that I love Mixer. I love this platform. You will have to drag me off this platform. Like, I'm not going anywhere. The only way like I'm going anywhere is if something were to ever happen to Mixer.
Yep.
And even then, I know that my community would come with me wherever I go.
Yep.
So this community has, and Mixer itself has done so much for me, and just been so amazing. And it's been a positive experience for me the whole time. I mean, yeah, you have rough patches and whatnot, but like, it's been a blessing, and I could never see myself going anywhere else until like I was forced to.
Well, and
this is my home.
I think you have a lot of solidarity or a lot of belief in the program the platform, and so do I. Like, I love Mixer. I love Mixer and what they do for me. I love what Mixer does for my community. I love what Mixer does for other communities and allows them to bridge from place to place, community to community over and over and over again. Because, you know, I believe we're all just, and I've said it before in other locations, like I believe that we're all just islands with a bunch of bridges, and our viewers are our bridges that allow us to connect. You know, they go from one place to another, and sometimes we are those bridges. Sometimes the viewers are the bridges. Sometimes the internet is the bridge. And, you know, those islands continue to grow. Those bridges continue to get bigger. And it's beautiful to see the level of camaraderie, the level of unity that we have across those worlds. But I think that, as you said, the only way that I would end up falling apart on this platform is if it fell apart. There was no other alternative than to leave. That they said, we're closing down doors. You cannot hit the go live button tomorrow. You're going to have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, like I said, kicking and screaming. I'm not
Exactly.
Drag me off.
The beauty is that I think that if that were to happen, what Mixer has become, what Mixer has grown, and those relationships that we've grown would actually end up affecting other platforms like Twitch or YouTube or Facebook, because you would continue to see those relationships that we've already built as everyone follows them, because again, they have no other choice either. So they're kicking and screaming along with you to wherever you go. And you go there and it turns into that same thing. Well, yeah, it sucked that happened, but we're going to continue doing what we were already doing. And we're going to continue to foster that same mentality, that same level of community somewhere else. And that's fine. We're okay with that. That's where we're at right now. But then I think we stand to gain against Twitch, and we stand to gain against Facebook, and really, quite frankly, change the world. Now, I know you brought it up before, like Mixer has changed you in the sense that, you know, it's actually saved your life. Is something that you quotably had said. And I think that's where you have a level of loyalty to the platform. And I have a level of loyalty. I think there are a lot of people that have a level of loyalty to the platform. And it's for one reason or another, you know, regardless of what the circumstances are that people are interested in, you know, switching or not switching, that's fine. Like I just want to support people because I want people to feel successful. If that's what they need to do so, then I'm behind them. But Mixer's changed your life. How did it do so?
I mean, when I say Mixer saved my life, I mean it. I was just going through a really hard time. I kind of just never thought that I was going to make it out. And, you know, life sucked, you know, work sucked. And I just felt like alone all the time, even if I had people, if I had my family or, you know, people around me, I wasn't okay at that time. And I found Mixer, and it completely changed like who I am as a person. I mean, I've been doing this about 2 years now, a little over 2 years, and the friendships that I've made, the people have been just so amazing, the support, and there's bad seeds everywhere, and there always will be, but all of the good people that I've met throughout everything just make it so worth it. And that is why I'm so loyal to Mixer, because I do feel that they saved me, you know, and they saved my life. So I'm very loyal to the platform. I'm loyal to my community, you know, because they're part of that reason, you know, why I'm okay or why I feel okay now. And when I do struggle, they're there for me. They know the days that I'm upset, whether I say something or not. You know, they yell at me to take mental health days off because they know like I'm, you know, maybe struggling a little bit. And it's so, you know, I don't know. I don't know if you'll ever find anywhere else, and I know if I went somewhere else, they would come with me. But for me, this is my home for now. And I support Twitch, and my friends that have moved to Twitch, I downloaded the Twitch app on my phone. I will open it up and go to their streams and say hello and sub to them and all this stuff. Like, it's not that I don't support Twitch. It's just Mixer is my home.
Right.
You know, I support the content creator, not the platform. So if we've been friends for over a year and you go to Twitch, bet your ass you're going to see me in your stream. Like, if I see you on, like, because you're still my friend, I supported you then, I'm going to support you now.
Well, and I definitely think, I mean, to your point, you know, support the you know, the creator, not necessarily the platform. I mean, obviously, through indirect choice, if you're subbing to a person, technically, you know, you can argue that you're supporting the platform, but besides the point, I think that, you know, there's an opportunity personally that we have in the potential to showcase Mixer over to the other side of the world. I know me personally, I use Restream. I like to bring my Mixer community to Twitch and to YouTube and to Facebook and DLive and all the other locations. And we've had a lot of really, really good responses about like, wow, this is a really, really great feeling, a really positive vibe, and I love it. And it's not something that I normally get here. And I just, it touches my heart. Like, I feel bad for a person that feels like they can't go somewhere to find that they can't go somewhere to get that. and regardless of what format that's in life, outside of life, through streaming. And so I think it's really awesome to hear that some place has changed you or touched you in such a way that you felt like you could continue on. Have you ever had a time that someone's voiced to you that you've done the same thing that Mixer did to you?
Yeah, more than I have fingers, probably toes too. And that's a lot of why I keep doing what I do. I don't talk about them a lot, but I do get a lot of messages. I have gotten a lot of messages from people telling me that I've saved their life, or that, I couldn't get out of bed today and I put on your stream and you cheered me up to the point where, like, I got up and I started to do things and I just felt okay. And, like, I know I've been through a lot, and I've been through a lot alone. And so when people reach out to me and they say things like that to me, it's why I do what I do. It's why I continue to do what I do. It's why sometimes if I'm having the hardest day and I can't get out of bed and I'm crying, I still will try to go live and get on stream, because I know how many people that I can affect and how many people's days I can change. And it means a lot. I mean, like, my mods will text me when they're having a bad day and just thank me for being there for them or being a friend. Barback's in the chat. He's one that has messaged me so many things that are beautiful that I cried. I can't even tell you how it went. He has a very beautiful message that, and I'm so happy I found him. He has a message that it's 30 to 30, 30 for 30. And Barback, I would love it if you would fucking type this out for me so I don't mess it up. It's basically take 30 seconds out of your day to check on somebody, say hello, and let them know you care, because that 30 seconds could save their life. And they could take that 30 seconds and spread it to somebody else in 30 seconds. And it can really save somebody's life, because you don't know what somebody's going through. Maybe you saying hi to somebody and saying hello just saved their life. And it's such a powerful message. And when I found Barback and he started to say that message, it's what really drew me to him, because he's so passionate about it and he's so vocal about it, and it's such a positive message that I think that more people need to hear, and I wish more people could hear. And I have a little bit of a bigger platform than Barback, so if we can help spread his message for him, then that's something that I would like to do, because it is a beautiful message. And it's such a simple and it's a beautiful message. And, he's a great friend, and I'm really glad that, he's showed me a lot and taught me a lot. And yeah, I want to see more of that type of positivity, throughout the communities and whatnot. Like, positive messages like that is just something that I think could do so much for the platform, so much for communities, and so much for people together, if we could just get behind the same messages at the same time.
Well, and I think that at the end of the day, I don't always see it as big platform to small platform, and I know that's not what you meant. That it's just, again, as an opportunity to share a viewpoint and an opportunity to share in positivity, to make a difference to the world, to make a difference to the community. And I don't view anything as like big streamer, small streamer. I just something I had said recently was that we just have locations, communities that sound louder because they have more voices. That no one's higher or lower than anyone else, that we're all just humans at the end of the day, and that we all can look out for each other at the end of every day and care. And so I wholeheartedly agree that taking the time to make something important and make someone important is at the heart or at the base of us being here and interacting with each other and genuinely caring. That you can care and say something and say happy birthday and then go back to just playing games, or you can make it a point. You can make someone's hurt a point because you need to lift them back up. And I think that circles right back around to where we're at right now, is that there is an entire community who is hurt, and we need to reach out and lift them back up, and then we can go back to caring about everyone. And I think that that's the focus piece, is that, we need to continue to have that thought process and that mentality at the core of our conversation. And that always needs to be the focus. And that's what I love about Mixer, is that I can go to so many different places and see that. And every once in a while you get the toxic thing, like someone just hates someone else. They just always have beef. And it sucks. But I think you're going to get that because it's human nature. That no matter what, you're going to run into it. that high school drama BS. And it sucks, but I love where we're headed for the future. And so I know it's a big topic right now. Do you see Mixer being successful in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Why?
I think it's a long-term game. I think it's going to be slower. Like you said, we're a baby. I mean, Mixer itself is about 2 years old. Beam was around a little before it, and it's just, I think it's going to take time. They have room to learn, and it's not like they're not listening. And I feel that so many people bash Mixer for not doing anything or this or that, and just behind closed doors, there's so much that people don't know about that we can't talk about. Your partners can't talk about it.
Yep.
It's NDA. So you don't understand, but the people that do have concerns about the platform and care about the platform are expressing their concerns, are saying what they want, are saying what they feel. They chat with staff, and people, there's things that happen behind closed doors that so many people are so quick to judge and say, Mixer this, Mixer that. Okay, can you go on Twitch and contact an employee and ask about? Probably not, and have them right there, be there with you. Right. So it's something that people don't see and they don't understand, and they're just so quick to judge and not before they know the facts or before they know things. And people don't know these things because they're things we're not supposed to talk about, things that we're not supposed to discuss. So we're not throwing this information out at you and telling you everything they're telling us, because this is our job and we're not going to lose our job. We're under contract, so we can't talk about those things. But everybody just needs to put their trust in Mixer that they're trying, they're listening, and over time it's going to grow. We're a baby. We're a little guy, and I think that we're doing pretty good. We got Ninja and Shroud. I'm happy. It's just a start. You get some big names on. People know the platform now. People didn't know Mixer before Ninja and Shroud were here. A lot of people were like, "What's that?" Yep. My old coworkers are like, "Oh, Mixer, Shroud's there now." So right. It's something that really brought more attention, even though a lot of people took it negatively. I think the only thing that it was good for the platform. More recognition, more people know the name. Even if you're talking shit about the platform, whatever, you're giving us recognition. Our name is there now. Before, nobody was talking about Mixer. Right. At least now we're a big enough dog that everybody's worried about us, or worried about us enough that they want to say negative things about it. So, I mean, if you're not threatened, why are we talking about it?
Right. And that was something I always learned in sales, is that the only time that you are willing to say something completely negative or bash someone directly without really a whole lot of anything to back it up is if you're actually scared of them. If something's going on and you're fearful of what threat they play to you, is that you're willing to just say completely negative things in order to try and bring them down or set the precedent mentally that they are lower than they should be. And it's funny because Mixer made a really, really smart play. When you're sitting there and having a conversation, Twitch was always, well, you must be on Twitch, you must be on Twitch, you must be on Twitch. Facebook and YouTube weren't even part of that conversation still. It was like, maybe they're on YouTube, but it was like, no, you're probably streaming on Twitch. But now it's become, oh, you're streaming on Twitch? No? Well, where are you, Mixer? Like, they don't jump to the fact that that's a 4 or 5% viewing average on the platform across all platforms. They skip right over Facebook and YouTube, which hold, roughly 30% in a variance over us? Like, they're just gone. That's out of the conversation. So you've taken someone who is effectively nothing and brought them up to the table to say that these are your only back and forths, which is phenomenal. And it's phenomenal to see that mental play on the back end from the marketing pretense. Now, it doesn't mean that there aren't things that Mixer can do to help us grow. It doesn't mean that Mixer, couldn't change a couple things to make things better. All things aside, that's still true. But I would agree with you. There are a lot of people who spin that negatively, who turn it into such a negative experience because they don't see the benefit from it. And I think that, it's a lot of the individual's positivity. It's a lot of the individual's viewpoint. It's a lot on the individual to make something happen. Migos Moo brought it up and said that, she made the dance category a dance category here on Mixer that just wasn't. And besides her, really, there aren't a lot of streamers, and she continues to grow. She made that. She built that. And so I think that there are a lot of people that need the determination. I think Mixer continues to give a lot of people determination and a lot of people the self-growth to help them create the experience and create the community that they want to succeed, but also to help their community. So I think the future stands to be really, really exciting for us. And so I would agree that Mixer, has a lot for the future. And it's possible. I'm not going to rule out that it's possible that maybe they don't win. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anything's possible in business, especially in this line of work. You could be playing one game and hypothetically tomorrow Apex could be dead and you got to swap some of your viewing stuff around because now all of a sudden EA is like, oh yeah, well we closed the doors on that development studio, so they're done. Anything could happen in this world, anything, especially in content creation. But I think that we are in a fantastic position to succeed for the future. And so theoretically, if you could pick any other game right now that you would main, any other content that you would main other than Apex, what would it be?
I always joked that if Apex wasn't around or if I got really mad at Apex, I would become a full-time Uno streamer.
Yeah! There we go.
Because I get really competitive when we play offline and it's a lot of yelling and I'm serious about it. And then I always joke, I'm like, guys, if Apex dies, I'm playing Uno for the rest of my career. That's it.
But I think that's a great option. And so when you think about it, when you're talking about the branding that you have, Uno's one of those games that because of the luck, there's a level of skill, but because of the luck, it can be kind of aggravating. And so it's high energy, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it allows you the laid back attitude of being able to focus around your community and just have a discussion. So fantastic, Andy. Fantastic. But it has that laid back attitude, that casual attitude that allows us to focus on the relationships of the community and build on the community that allow us to just kind of sit back and just do what we need to do to talk about what we need to talk about and still be able to play, Still be able to just relax and be calm about it. And so I think that works perfectly for you. You could be a pro Uno player, a pro Mixer Uno streamer, and continue to grow a category, continue to grow a community off the basis of that. So I think that's fantastic. If you had to pick 5 games, what would they be?
Uno, PUBG, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. Yes, 3. Not 1, 2, not Underground, 3. It has to be. Call of Duty World War II. And Animal Crossing. That's probably what I'd pick.
So then real question. I think those are all fantastic choices. We have a lot of people that are super, super excited about World War II in this community. About 4 or 5 of my mods who are all like, yeah, this is the best game ever in the world, but it's interesting to see. So how did you come into Apex? How did you know that was going to be this is it. This is the moment I was waiting for.
I had no idea. I was playing PUBG. When I started streaming, I was a PUBG, Call of Duty World War II streamer. That's it. Those were the 2 games I played. And then while I was a streamer, Apex came out, and everybody was like, oh, this new game, everybody was really excited about it. I tried it, and I fell in love with it, and let me tell you, I was not good at it. I was not good at it at all. It's not like, oh, the piece of this game, let me play. It was just a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. My friends enjoyed it. And then, the game's been out a little bit, over a year now, and I'd like to say that I'm pretty decent at the game now. I mean, if you go back and look at clips from when the game first came out to now, we laugh about it all the time because it's so drastic. The gameplay, like Andy said, embarrassingly bad. But I grew with the game, and I just fell in love with it, and it's fast-paced, and it's different. And I don't know, I absolutely love the game. I fell in love with it. I don't even touch Call of Duty anymore, which does break my heart sometimes because Call of Duty's been my game since I was a wee little tot. And now I just haven't enjoyed any Call of Duty since World War II. If I pick up a Call of Duty again, it'll be back at World War II, and I'll be playing that and bring it back. But other than that, Call of Duty kind of just lost it for me, and then Apex came around at the same time as the Call of Duty games I wasn't enjoying, and it worked out, and then I just kind of, I'm stuck on it now.
Well, and I remember, I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember being, what was it? The snow map, I think, had just come out, and I remember dropping in, and someone was like, oh yeah, this brand new game just came out, like, and, you know, Shroud and Ninja and all of them have already done like a pre-play of it, and they're super excited about it, and it just came out, like, you can download it right now, like a random surprise appearance, go pick it up. And so I remember picking it up and getting into matches, and it was just like you said. Like, the first 10 matches were abhorrently painful. You were like, oh my God, what am I doing? I know I can shoot. What the hell is going on? And you just had to get used to it. And I would always tell people, just get past the first 10 matches. You know, once you get used to that speed of play, that how the looting concept works, it's different than a battle royale, but it's not. Like, it's just, there's some kind of tricks, I guess, that you would call them, that really make Apex different. And a lot of it's the speed. Time to kill is impressively quick. I got 3 shot by a scout, or sorry, the G7 scout the other day. Just popped, just like in less than a second. I'm down. I'm like, wow, okay, all right. But it's different. It's really quite different. And so I think that we continue to see really unique experiences from gaming, and that everything's kind of changing in the category. So if you could imagine like the absolute best experience that you could have in a BR, what is one essential feature that you would look for?
All I wanted to answer there was just, please take Gibby out of Apex. Oh, like, Tara, don't say it. Oh, okay. So I'm not the only one who feels that way. Team no Gibby. I don't know. They're all so different. PUBG is really different. If you die, you die, you don't come back, and it's a lot slower pace. So that game is really funny for me because, like, we can chill. I can have a couple beers and play with my friends, and it's kind of more laid back, and we mess around with each other, and we kind of just have a really good time. And when we play Apex, I think we're a little more serious. We're a little more sweaty. It is fast-paced. Like, sometimes I don't even have time to reach over and take a sip of my water because it's so intense and I'm constantly being partied. So, you know, they're all totally different in their own way, but I love them for different reasons. Like, I love PUBG because it's slow, and because sometimes if I die, you know, I can watch my friends play, and I can, you know, sit back and relax for a bit, talk to chat, and enjoy it. You know, where Apex is always very hands-on and fast and fun. And you know, Fortnite, we played that because somebody, you know, they made me play it, but I really enjoyed it because, like I said, it was fun, and we were laughing and just messing around, and it was different. We were playing to have a good time, not to be sweaty, not to try, you know, win the games. It was just for a good time.
Right.
And so they're all different. So I don't really know because I love them all for different things.
So it seems like that the one absolute necessity is being able to play with your friends no matter what.
Yes, absolutely.
So community is incredibly important.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I would say that, you know, like, I've played Fortnite on stream. I always told people, like, I used to main PUBG. That's how I started, was maining PUBG. And so, like, Fortnite was the antithesis of PUBG. They were just two completely different spectrums. You know, PUBG was the tactical shooter that, you know, even one person could sit there and like solo an entire squad by themselves. And it's really hard to do that in Apex. It still can be done, but it's not as common. Like, you know, one person could just melt an entire team in PUBG, and it wasn't unheard of. It was just like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, I saw a guy do that yesterday. I saw a guy do that yesterday. But in Apex, you're like, wow, you soloed a whole group?
Yeah.
In rank mode? All right. But yeah, and I think it is because of those, you know, third parties. And, you know, even in PUBG, like, you still have an opportunity to turn around and just melt someone who's trying to third party. And so I think that's what makes it, you know, a unique experience, is that PUBG is very, very tactical. You know, Apex really, really quick paced. You know, Fortnite's obviously the 3D thinking, that it's not always just laterally up and down, you know, like across the plane, kind of like Apex and kind of like PUBG are. Like, it's all about how you can go upwards as well and maintain that height advantage. So there are other facets to that that really do make a difference. But everyone does kind of have their own unique experience. But with Fortnite, I always hated it. Like, it was always just the absolute opposite. But playing Fortnite, it was enjoyable going over to play with people, to play with the viewers, to play with other people and just not care. Just to shoot people and be like, oh my God, I just totally knocked a dude. And then just walk away and be like, okay, whatever. Like, this is fine. And so I think that, you know, gaming's going to change drastically, that the industry is going to change drastically, that the world can change drastically as we start recognizing that at the heart of all of this is how we interact, how we just enjoy moments together that really define us as people. So, like, I think VR is going to be one of those things that allows us to be and feel present in the future, to feel like we're actually there spending time with our friends. And it's going to be harder and harder to implement it into a world where it does feel tangible, where it does feel real. But do you feel like VR has an opportunity, you know, for us to interact as people together?
I don't know. Like, okay, so I'm very excited to see what the future holds, and not at the same time, because of, like, everything going on. I feel like it's, you know, like, multiple people have said this to me, that it's like, this can either go really, really well, and and we can be making history right now, or we are literally dividing ourselves so bad that things could become worse. Like, somebody was texting me about that this morning, and she was literally, like, talking to me about, she was like, I told her to take a day off Twitter because it is very stressful with everything that's going on, and she is a person of color, so I know going through and seeing all those terrible videos and all those things is really hurtful. So I told her to step down and take a break from Twitter for a day just to clear her mind and whatever. And she texted me this morning and said she stepped back from Twitter, and she was really happy that I told her to do that because she would have lost her mind if she didn't. And then she had mentioned, she's like, I don't really know what is going to happen here. She's like, it could make history, or it could really divide everybody so much worse than, you know, it needs to be. And it's kind of hard because I feel like everybody doesn't know what's going to happen right now. Like, no matter what we're doing, no matter what we're saying, everybody's kind of like, what's next? What's going on? How are we going to communicate together? How are we going to get back to, you know, how can we get on the same page? How can we try to make other people, you know, it's really tough. And it's really messing with a lot of people that everybody feels so divided. And they feel like they can't talk to people, or they can't reach out because of the division and whatnot.
Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, I think, and as we've discussed earlier, I think there are a lot of challenges that we're facing, and I think that there will continue to be challenges that we're facing, and I'm glad that, you know, we can still rely on I think the relationships that we've already built, the relationships that we've already harbored, in the same sense that you've described, that you guys can sit back and talk about something without anyone walking away. I mean, when you were in the other day, we started talking about that, and no one walked out of that conversation.
Yeah.
And I continue to see relationships in communities where people can have those conversations without threat, and they have a safe environment. They feel like they can get their voice heard, and regardless, still end up with at least a respectful opinion. Like, no, I don't agree with that, and that's fine. You can do your own thing. Like, you're entitled to your beliefs. I get it. I just personally don't agree with it, and that's okay. Like, everyone can be unique, and I think that's where that respect and love piece comes in, is that we just need to understand that everyone's unique, everyone has a unique viewpoint, and some people are different. Some people are on one side completely, some people are on the other side completely, some people are caught somewhere in the middle. It doesn't matter. As long as we're acting out of care and respect for each other. I think that's the divisive thing. I feel like the future holds a lot for us in the way of gaming, especially when people have started to recognize that it isn't just about playing games and shooting people and calling it a day, that like, I know a lot of parents have even made the post like, so let me just say this, like my little kid has been going to school and working on his Chromebook and doing all of his homework so that he can stop at the end of the night and play games with his friends and just have a laugh and just have fun. And like, I can't be any happier. He's safe in his home. I don't have to worry about him catching anything. He's playing Fortnite or Call of Duty or, you know, whatever it may be. And, you know, every single night they're having a great time. I saw a story the other day that said that like, some kid was upset because he was an only child, and my son and his friends got him into a party and started playing with games with him over the next like 24 hours because it was his birthday and he didn't have anyone to celebrate with. And I was like, that's such a touching story that they just picked up a kid from the internet who felt like he was alone and just started sharing that moment with him. Like, this is so beautiful. And so like, I think that there are people that are definitely challenged by a lot of this. And I think that there are other people that are capitalizing across a lot of this. And I think it's harmful and hurtful to see how divisive it can be, but that it's good to see that the opportunity of success that can come from it. And as long as we continue to focus with that in sight, I think we have a lot to gain. And I don't know, I think it's all good stuff. That it's always good stuff. So if you could share a moment or bring up a moment that has absolutely assured you that this is what you want to do, that this is like this is my more than a dream full-time job, that this is a love, you know, like I'm just bought in, I'm so passionate about this that I just have to do this. What was that swing vote, that deciding factor? And what were you doing? What was happening? What was going on when it all, like, if you can remember it, if you're able to talk about it?
The first thing that comes to mind was when we raised $10,000 for cancer last year.
Woo! Because
I had only been streaming for a year, and you know, we raised so much money. We did a 24-hour stream. You know, it was me and Andy and somebody else, and we just raised so much money. And right then and there, I was like, $10,000 is a lot of money. I mean, $10,000 would save my life. I mean, and we raised that for cancer, and I sat back and I was like, holy shit, little old me and my buddies just raised $10,000 for charity. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, this could end tomorrow and my career could end tomorrow. But the amount of good that I've done in the time that I've been doing this, and the amount of money that my community and my friends' communities have raised together is priceless and makes the whole thing worth it. Like, they could say, okay, you lose partnership, you're done tomorrow, and it would be worth it, because, you know, not only did we raise $10,000 for cancer, then there was raising money for autism, and then raising money for my buddy. You know, my buddy fell off a cliff and, you know, almost died and was trauma hawked out, and we and my community got together and raised, you know, a couple $1,000s to help him pay for those medical bills. And the fact that I can do that, and I have a platform, and these people want to do good things with me, that's what changed my mind. That's what made me say, like, this is what I want to do. I want to make an impact, I want to make a difference, and I want to make a change. And that was it. It was last year, about this time. It was last year, last month is when it was. And nice. It changed my life, and it changed the streaming, and I think that it changed the way I looked at everything, and it made me want to do this more, knowing that I could do more great things like that.
I think that that's a lot of people's, I would say, motivation to continue streaming. A lot of people's motivation to continue this, at least that I see here on Mixer, continually over and over and over again. I know, as we've stated, some people are in it for the money, some people are in it for fame, you know, whatever it may be. And like, if that's what they want to do, fine. If that's what makes them happy, fine. But what really buys me in is communities like that they don't have their own interests in mind, that they have someone else's interest in mind. They have friends, they have people's lives, that's their focus, that they want to see the better of the world than necessarily the better of themselves, because that in the end makes them the better of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you can ask, like Andy's been around 2 years. He's seen me. I would say he would probably say I'm a completely different person than I was 2 years ago when he first met me. I handle situations differently. I carry myself differently. I think about things differently. And I think that I have grown so much that it's crazy to think about how different I was like 2 years ago. Like, it's in a good way, and it was a good way for myself. Like, it was something that I needed to help me better. So, it's part of why, Mixer made me better and helped me with so many things, is because I wouldn't have had those people by my side, or the community, or the support to make me feel like I can do things differently than I was before, or be more level-headed than I was before. And the friendships are great, and I love the friendships, and it does everything, but we do this together, like the charity work and everything. I couldn't do it without my community. I couldn't do it without my friends. So to me, it's all a package. If you have a good community and you've built a family and real, true, genuine friendships, they're going to be there to support you. They're going to be there to help you for as much as you want to help. It all comes together in a package. When you're truly there and you're super genuine. If you're genuine with people, they can see that, they can feel it, and they know. And that's why, I have a lot of people that have stuck around for a long time, and a lot of people that are just so supportive and always there with me. And it's really nice that it all ties together, that you can have great friends and a great community and raise a lot of money for charity and help people. And it's cool to be able to do all of it. It's really nice.
I would say that it's life-changing. I would say that it's continually life-changing, because there's just so much that really has made a difference to me and has impacted me, and more so even lately. It's just been over and over and over again. I've had people come in and say something or do something that's just made me to the point where I'm like, how do I have such an opportunity? Why do I, who put me here? I don't deserve this,
Yeah. They definitely make me speechless a lot.
I would agree, and it's great. It's an incredibly humbling experience, and it continues to be a fantastic experience. And so if you could go back and stop in, bust through the door, day one, Tay, and just crush it and say, look, now's the time, start doing this, what would it be?
Stop listening to other people. That's probably what I would tell myself. So much good can come from other people, but so much bad can come from other people. So there's a lot of people that, have affected me or said things to me that, that I wish, back then, I kind of wish I had the mindset I had now, which is, I just, now it happens, it doesn't bother me, it rolls off, it's whatever, it is what it is. I've come to grow. I know that I'm not the reason these people are doing things. It's because they're unhappy with themselves or something or whatever, that things like this happen. So if I could go back and tell myself one thing before I started doing all of this, it would be to not listen to the negativity from other people. Because there is so much of it out there, and you compare yourself to other people, and why am I not doing as good as this person or that? If you do that, it's just going to hurt your content. The more that you're yourself and you can open up and whatever, that's great. And I never focused on anybody else's content or anything like that, but I did focus on the negative things people said to me, or if I heard somebody said something nasty about me and somebody else told me, it would always really, really break me down bad. And it was really hard to learn how to deal with that, because I always thought, how could you be so nasty to somebody you don't know, you've never spoken to, whatever. It's crazy to me, but it happens in this industry, and I'm too old for that shit. I'm going to be 29 in 10 days. I don't got time for this. I'm old.
Happy birthday. I'll come in.
I'm old. I don't have time for it. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I just wish everybody was kind of just I don't know. I did spend so much time listening to other people's negativity. Probably my whole first half of streaming. It was it dragged me down. It made me upset. I would get depressed. I would think about, is what these people are saying, is it true? Why do they say these things? Why, you know, like, it was so much, and it was so much going on in my head, and I was beating myself down over it. And now I think completely different, and I feel that it's made me take things a little easier. It's a little easier for me to handle things, and I kind of just, I brush it aside. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. There's like a lot that goes on that people don't know about. There's a lot of nastiness that happens, and it's all behind the scenes, and people would never know about it. And it does suck sometimes, and it's really hard. But once you get that thick skin and you realize that they're only doing those things for a reason, it's so much easier to handle, because it doesn't only happen to me. It happens to so many people that, you know, might have a spat with somebody or this or that, or, oh, I heard something about that. People just like to talk. You know, it's like high school, it's gossipy. You just got to take it with stride and be strong and, you know, support each other. Have your friends there for you. I mean, like, I used to run to my friends if I heard something bad, and they would be like, why would anybody believe that? We know you. You know, and then I would sit there and be like, you're right. You know, like, if you watch my streams, you clearly know things like this aren't true. So it got to the point where I finally realized, you know, you are a decent person. You're a good person. You have a really good heart. You mean well. And sometimes other people just don't take it the right way, or maybe they don't enjoy the way that you portray things, or the way that you are, or how vocal you are. Yeah.
So when you don't want to hear the negativity, which I would agree with, like, that can be incredibly destructive.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you criticize yourself constructively to grow yourself?
Well, listen, I have a mod squad that has no problem saying anything. And it's not, you know, I'm fine with constructive criticism. Like, if it's about stuff like that, I'll take it all day. But the thing that bothers me is there are people that literally won't know you, don't follow you, have never spoken a word to you, and they'll run their mouth about you. And that's the kind of negativity I try to ignore. Not really the stuff that could help me. I mean, Andy's told me to fix a bunch of stuff on my stream, and things have only, you know, gotten better because I listened to him. But it was constructive criticism. Why don't you try doing this? Why don't you try doing, you know, good stuff? Like, I'll listen to stuff like that all day. But when it's negativity or toxic negativity about somebody that you don't have a relationship type of stuff with, which happens a lot, or passive aggressive tweets that are, you know, maybe put out that are about you, like, it's stuff like that that people need to ignore and push aside. So many people kind of fuel the fire or fight back, or it just becomes worse. You know, let that toxicity, you know, file out on its own. But if we stop interacting with it together, I think it would make things a lot easier for us, and a lot easier for the platform and the communities to come together as a whole, instead of trying to divide each other, you know, with negativity. If you don't like somebody, don't say anything. That's what I was raised as.
And so, like, I know you and I have chatted about that being like a super fine line. And so I think it's really, really challenging because, you know, you see hypothetically like a post that's just incredibly negative, hateful, you know, whatever it may be. And, you know, you don't want to draw attention to them, because then that just furthers the soapbox that they can stand on and continue to try and maybe even make a sway to one person that they might teach to have a bad outlook. Just a non-productive outlook. Let me put it that way. Because bad can be perceptive, but, you know, like, there are things that are just, no matter what, it is right and it is wrong, and people can make a person think that something that is definitely wrong is the right thing. And so it's a struggle. Like, do I make this well known and circulate this because people need to know that this is not good, or do I not cause attention to it, because then that circle of exposure just shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks because they won't continue to exist? So do we have the imperative to teach and bring light to the situation for the good of that person, because maybe, just maybe, we might get through? Or do we stay silent so that way they just never see that exposure?
I feel like it's a fine line. I feel that some things can be shared and cannot be shared. I mean, I feel like there is a fine line between what you are sharing and how it's said. So somebody could say the same exact thing, but somebody, you know, maybe this one is better to share to let people know because maybe there's certain words not in it, or it sounds a little better, sounds like a little more professional. Or somebody could take the really, really bad one that's the same exact point, but has nastier words, whatever. And I think that it kind of just might spin, it depends on how things are worded. Because sometimes it comes negatively or comes back, even if you try to mean well or teach somebody or the ways, it might spin a different way. So it's a really fine line depending on what the posts are about, and how you can be vocal about it, or how can you teach somebody in the right way. If it's a post that already has a bunch of, fights and controversies and people bickering back and forth, throw it away. Right. Because that's not good. It's not what we're looking for. Like there's discussions, and then there's like, you're a fucking idiot, blah, blah, blah. And people will get that way, and they get toxic, and they fight back and forth, and they're nasty to each other instead of having an adult discussion. And those are the ones that I think need to be pushed aside, put away, because it's just dividing more people. It's making it harder for people to get along. There's ways for people to have adult discussions and teach each other without being at each other's throats.
Sorry, for whatever reason, my bot's not working either. Oh, it's not connecting. All right, whatever. But no, yeah, I would agree. I think that, it's a fine line, and I continue to see fine lines, especially with everything that's happening. And it's hard. It's hard. Like, we continue to have to judge ourselves, critically think about ourselves. Where could we go wrong? What thing could we positively say? What negative thing could we say? How is someone going to view this? And so, like, I think it's important, as you've stated, like, to be okay with who you are and to be okay with the viewpoints that you have, because then that allows us to know that what we're standing up for is the right thing. That at the end of the day, I know that I've got to be doing something that's good.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, we continue to see people that's what they stand up for, that's what they believe in. And, like, you just have to understand, I think, and I think a lot of people need to think in the way that you have to understand that maybe it's easier for me to ask about their viewpoint, just see, as long as it's not something that's completely blatantly negative. Like, maybe I should seek to understand their viewpoint and then make a decision based off of that interaction. Like, what they could have just screwed up their post and typed it, and instead of like typing an and, they typed a the, and that just changes the entire narrative of the post. Who knows? Yeah. So I don't know. It's definitely risky. It's definitely a hard point to be in, especially when you've got everything to consider, everything under the sun to consider, because you might affect someone's life. It's not about the business. It's not about your reputation. It's not about that. That you could literally change the way someone's thinking just with a few words, because we already. So it's an interesting thought. And so, like, I definitely agree that there's a fine line, and we have to be careful not to put ourselves in the position to think that just because we can say one thing, we can say anything. And just because we can say anything, we can move one person. Yeah. So it's hard to keep yourself in check. It's hard to be, at least for myself, I feel like it's hard to say, like, am I doing it though? Like, is this the right choice? Is this the correct decision for the world? So, like, I don't know. It's I think it's the ever-long streamer struggle, at least for the people who are really, really invested for what I believe to be the right purpose. As you've stated, you're in it for the people. And I would say that I'm also in it for the people. But yeah, I don't know. It's different. It's really, really different. So where do you see yourself in 5 years when you're thinking about everything all said and done?
Hopefully me and Shroud will be sipping mimosas on the beach. Sorry, Shroud's girlfriend. I don't know. I hope I'm still doing this, but I hope my platform's bigger, and I hope I can raise more money. I mean, like, it's so cool to see people like Courage JD raise hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'm sitting over here like, woo, $10,000, and they're doing like 100,000, like crazy numbers. Like, that's what I want. Hopefully I'll be able to have a big enough platform where we can do stuff like that and like still be who we are and continue, but like with a bigger community. And I do hope that, because I know when communities grow, sometimes it's really hard to keep that family and that community and, you know, everything that it is. So for the time being, I am very happy that I can handle my community and handle everybody, and, you know, just like really be able to reach out to everybody and answer every single DM and have personal conversations with every single person. You know, that's like my favorite part about it is I get off stream and I jump in Discord for 5 to 6 hours with anybody who wants to come in and talk. And we just sit there and we chat about whatever or play offline games, and it's so fun. You know, and I hope in 5 years, like, I can have a bigger platform to be able to do these great things, but still, you know, be able to do those little things as well, like have movie nights with my friends and stuff like that, you know, which it's hard to balance, you know, eventually over time, but that's something that I would love to be able to do, is grow my platform, but still have the same family.
Well, I mean, and it's going to be incredibly challenging if you're trying to get in a relationship with Shroud. Like, you're going to have to make time off of stream in order to be able to make it to the beach in the first place.
That's true, that's true. I mean, Shroud can come over here. Florida beach is 10 minutes away. We're good.
Okay, all right. I feel it. Does he bring his cat? His huge cat?
His cat would probably eat my cat. I just looked around like, where's my cat?
So are you a cat person or a dog person?
Grew up with dogs, and have a cat now, and I'm probably a cat person now. I still love both. Like, I miss the cuddles from dogs in beds because cats are assholes sometimes.
I feel that.
You know, the cat's easy, you know, she's easy. She's got her litter box, she's got her food, she's happy. She just wants some, you know, nose boops once in a while and to run around the house all nipped out of her mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling. I got a little lucky with one that I adopted, because both of my cats are rescues, but I got a little lucky with the one that I adopted. He tucks me in every night. So he just lays right on my chest, and like, no, it doesn't matter. Like, he can hear me from wherever he is in the house. Like, I'm going to bed and he runs in like 5 minutes later, sits right on my shoulder, on my chest, whatever, and just purrs up a storm until I'm starting to get to the point where, like, I'm ready to fall asleep. And then he'll go back to doing whatever. Sometimes he lays there, sometimes he runs off. Who knows? But it's a good experience. But Sherlock's a gem. Vega's, she's crazy. She just does whatever the hell she wants. She's a princess. But I feel like that's the case with all the female cats that I've had. They're always just princesses. Like, no, I don't have time for you. Yeah. I've got stuff I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But it's whatever. So cool. If you had any insight that you could offer to any of our creators out there, that you said that they would have to try and conquer one thing or do one thing that's absolutely essential, what would it be?
Be yourself 100% of the time. Like, that's I've stood by this since day one. Be yourself. I'm loud, I'm obnoxious, I cuss a lot, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Like, you know, somebody's gonna come in and troll something and say something nasty, I'm gonna tell them I fucked their mom. I'm literally not everybody's cup of tea. I'm a little Hispanic, I'm loud, I'm sassy, I yell a lot, I get angry. But my community loves me for me. And they love me for who I am, and they always have. And there's not a day when you're always yourself. When you hit that go live button, you have nothing to worry about because you're yourself 100% of the time. There's a lot of people that put on a smile for the camera when they go live, no matter what. And the moment they slip up, their community is like, yo, why are you so different, blah, blah, because they weren't always being themselves. If you're yourself 100% of the time, your community is going to love you for you, and they're going to stick by you because online, offline, in person, you're the same. You're no different at all. I mean, half these people met me at PAX, and they can tell me, they'll tell you, I'm just as obnoxious in person as I am online. I'm loud, I yell, I'm very loving, it's just who I am, but I've never switched that up. I've always been genuine 100% of the time.
And I think that's one of the most critical pieces, because I think that you see two sides of the spectrum, that you can be someone else and that you can entertain as someone else. You could be a different character. I mean, look at Dr. Disrespect, obviously a very, very successful streamer, and plays a completely different character than who he is. Mm-hmm. But you can be, I think, someone else. However, I think that you have more real attachment when you're you. Yeah. And that people are willing to stand by you and be loyal to you if you're you, because they don't see anything else. There is no other option.
Connect with you, or they feel on the same level as you. Like, I've had people message me and been like, "You're so real. I love the way you are. You know, I thought maybe I was too harsh to be a streamer, but I watch you and you're so successful, and you're doing what you're doing. And that's the whole point. Like, people, they enjoy me for who I am. Like, if there's a calm day and I'm not yelling at my trolls, my community's like, oh my gosh, are you all right? Like, are you good? Like, they check on me, but they know me like the back of their hand. Like, they know when I'm upset. If I get on stream, I'll get whispers, are you okay? What's wrong? What's bothering you? They literally know, even if I don't say a word, if I'm upset, if I'm angry, they always know when I'm hungry. And like, they just literally know me like the back of my hand. They know me better than my family sometimes. Which is really nice, but that's because I've always been myself. I've gotten on stream angry. I've gotten on stream after, a breakup and crying, and like, they've seen everything from me. They've seen anger, they've seen sadness, they've seen happiness, they've seen, excitement. They've seen everything from me, because when I go live, I am me. I'm not going to pretend not to get upset about something that upsets me, for subs or for money or for a follow. Like, you guys are going to know if something upsets me. I'm going to be vocal about it, and I feel like that's why I have such a close-knit community. People always ask me, how is your Discord so busy? How do you get it so active? Why are people always talking in every single tab 24/7? And it's because I've been like this the whole time. I've been connected on Discord the whole time, in my DMs. It's always been such close relationships with my friends and my community, and we built it together. And like, we're a family now. Like, it's so hard to call them a community, because that's not how I see them. I mean, Timmy in the chat, like, him and his son just, sent me presents for my birthday. Like, his son picked me out a Bangalore Apex hoodie, and sent it to me for my birthday. And I was like almost in tears. And he gets so excited, like, when he watches my stream and he says, hi, Taylor, and all this stuff. He comes in the Discord and says hi to us. And it's like little things like that. Like, we're a family. We know about each other. We know each other's kids. We know so much. And you don't get that in a lot of places. A lot of places, you won't even see the streamer talk in Discord unless it's like about their stream or something. Like, they don't have casual conversations. They're not trying to really get to know their community. I want to know everything about my community. I want to know when their birthday is. I want to know their favorite food. What do they like to do? Post their game clips, like everything. I love to know them as much as I can.
Yep. And I think one of the benefits there is, like, obviously the community is centric. It's focus centric around what can I do to be there for you guys just as much as you guys are there for me, and we're all there for each other. It's Andy who's there for Hammer Demon. Like, you guys were there for his wedding. Like, that's one of those pieces that adds to that puzzle of, like, no, we are family. And I believe that's I would say one of the best focuses to have, and just because then there is a loyalty to it and there's truth to it. Like, people can see through that and say, like, no, that's definitely the focus or the mindset of Tay. That's definitely the focus and the mindset of the other people who are here, is they're here for, her, she's there for them, they're there for each other. That is this community, this whole community, this family. And so, like, I love that. I mean, I know Discord, me personally, that's something I've always struggled with. And even though I try and push an energy towards it, try and be active, be engaged, it just doesn't take off. And maybe I'm just not good at it. I don't know. That's okay. Like, I love that though for you. Like, I think that's a fantastic thing to have. And I know Metro said the same thing. Like, he spends 6 to 8 hours outside of his stream, just being there with the rest of his community, playing games, playing Paladins offline, playing whatever offline, chatting, talking about whatever. Like, that's his life. And that's fantastic, because again, it creates those relationships that continue to drive our motivation, our energy, our inspiration to help us be better people. So, like, I would love to hear questions from the community, questions from the other people that are out there in the audience that you still feel like you want to know. I mean, it already sounds like you have all the answers, but maybe there's some people from, my community that have questions about what they can do, people that have questions for me, whatever it may be. I'd love to hear from the audience. So, what do we got? Why red lipstick? That's an easy one, I assume.
Andy, you know that. I look like I have no lips. Red lipstick makes me look like I have lips. I got my mom's upper lip. I have small lips. I hate it, so I wear red lipstick. Like, it's always been my thing. Like I've always worn red lipstick, and I used to tie my hair up in a little bandana with like a little puff from like the 60s, and
So wait,
my thing.
to further that, is that the inspiration behind your logo then?
I mean, somebody had that logo made for me like a long time ago, but that's me. I used to wear my hair like that every single day when I went to work. You know, like it was my thing. It was my staple. Like everybody knew that was me. They would see like the bandana and the hair up with the style, and they were like, "Oh, there's Tay. That's me." You know, it was cool. So I mean, yeah.
So Supa had asked, can Takedown talk to dolphins?
All Floridians can. Fun fact. Super, you should know it.
So wait. So wait, Floridians as in like a person who has spent how much time? Because I do not feel like I can talk to a dolphin.
Like Floridians, like basically born and raised. We wrestle gators, we talk to dolphins, that's what we do here.
I was just like a 1.5 year native, so.
Not long, definitely not long enough.
Okay, all right. So I didn't go through the appropriate amount of training. Now I understand. Trolling had asked, when can baby gonna take you to lunch?
Oh, baby wants to take me to lunch? Wherever he wants, whenever he wants.
Barbeck said, other than Shroud, who is one partner you would like to stream with?
Ooh.
Then why? Besides Andy. Andy doesn't count.
So I've already played with this person before, but this is like, this is who I think of. This is who I like. What? Munchkin Doom. That's like, I love her to death. We did the Apex tournament together. She's a huge inspiration to me, as well as a really good friend. I literally love everything about her, and I have such a good time with her. Like streaming with her and like playing with her, like more than we did like for the tournament would be amazing, just because she has such a big heart, a big soul. She's just so funny, always puts a smile on my face and laughs, and she kicks ass at the game too. So, and that's somebody that I don't have a lot of opportunities to play with, that I would love to play with again.
I think Andy, just for the sake, I think Andy counts for everyone. I think we just love Andy being Andy, and so we just take it out on Andy.
Yeah, everybody loves Andy so much that's why they talk about him all the time. And you don't get a runners-up prize. You play with me every day. Shoo.
So we've covered that basis then. Okay. When are you gonna switch from Miller to a real beer like Corona? Wow, that look. That answers that. So, like, maybe never, or?
Yeah. I mean, I'll drink a Corona with lime on a hot summer day by the pool when I'm on vacation, but Miller is my beer.
How often do you take a vacation?
I mean, if this wasn't going on, I would have definitely been in Disney World like last month, for sure. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times. Usually like Disney World, twice, and NASCAR. We don't really go far, stay in the state, able to drive, but it's still a getaway.
So what's your favorite park in Disney?
Epcot. I used to hate it. I love it because I
part
can
of
just
Epcot?
like the whole thing.
Okay, because like me,
I eat, I drink, I'm a happy noodle. It's perfect.
We talked about this the other day, that like when I end up going back to Disney, the first thing I'm doing is beelining it straight to Germany and getting a bratwurst.
Yes, absolutely.
Because those things are delicious. But
Yes.
I love the world tour concept of Epcot because of all the amount of food and the diversity of food and just being able to see all that different stuff. And I think it's really cool how they've gone out of their way to include people along with their native location. Like, this is where this individual is from, and you know that you can like try and speak to them in that language. Like, oh, I could try and speak German or Japanese in Japan, or whatever, and they're gonna understand me, which is just really, really interesting to me, because then you feel it, like they're creating that experience. So yeah. I think it's really, really fun.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I've been going to Disney since I was a kid because I'm a Floridian. So like that was vacation, born and raised, drive up to Disney, go for a while. And my sister and I always stayed Disney kids. I lived in Orlando. She was in college in Georgia, and she would drive down, and I would get free tickets because all my friends worked at the parks. So we would literally go to Disney at least once a month. And it was just a good time. And it's like a really good time for me and my sister. Like, it's our thing. Like, when we go, I go with my sister. We have the best time. We laugh. Like, it's a really nice trip to like take us back to our memories from when we were kids, and you know, we're constantly getting along and having a really good time. And people think it's stupid, but like, you could be an adult and just like go somewhere and forget about it. Like, I'm Disney World all day. I don't care. I'll be a child. I am the first in line with a Mickey pretzel with beer cheese, and I'm running to get on Dumbo. Like, that's me. I'm like such a kid. But it's just a nice little escape, and it's something that my sister has always enjoyed as much as I do, and it's our bonding time. And my sister just moved away like 3.5 hours away. She was 5 minutes down the street, her and my mom. So that's been really, really shitty, trying to get used to them not being down the street anymore. Because if I was upset, I would drive over there and sit on the patio and talk to my sister and just hang out. And they're not there anymore. But my sister keeps telling me, well, when Disney opens, I'm right down the street. So why don't you come over, like, type of thing. And she's just kind of trying to already get ready for us to go and do our little Disney vacation. But it's definitely been hard, like, losing my family from down the street, because you know, the escape that I once had for a long time is now not there. So it's been really hard to process.
I feel it. So, real question then. I know some people, shockingly, in my opinion, are against them. Dole Whips or?
Dole Whips with alcohol in it.
Okay, all right. I
I'm
feel it.
missing out on that. But it's really, really good.
I feel it.
At the Polynesian Hotel, you can get a pineapple Dole Whip topped with rum. So good. You gotta go all that when you're on vacation. You have to have everything the bougiest way possible.
So, do we have any other questions for Tay, or anyone who's got any questions for, you know, like streaming in general, or anything out there from the audience? Anything else? Obviously, I'm kind of coming up on them with, as people.
About her.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing. That's a good position to be in. I know too much. Will Andy marry me? I don't know. Andy's gonna have to answer that one. Nope. He just backed right out. Just backed right out. Where can we find Tay after streams?
Discord, always.
Deal.
Always in Discord. I get offline, we hang out in voice chat, and we just talk to each other every day. I don't think we've missed a day in a hot minute. So it's a lot of fun, and everybody just hangs out and talks and plays different games together. Or Hammer will be yelling, playing League of Legends, while Scout is playing golf with friends and yelling. But we're all still there together, and we're all still hanging out, and we're still chatting and, you know, just doing our thing. But like, everybody's also doing something different at the same time, which is really fun. Like, I feel a lot of people might be intimidated to come in, oh, what if they're talking about what? Like, we're literally all doing our own thing, but enjoying each other's company.
So you guys just go right to like a voice channel and just relax?
Yep, absolutely.
What's your normal stream schedule? I know that you bounce around because, you know, your opinion on that is like, I'll go live whenever I need to, whenever I'm capable of it, whenever I'm fit to. But like, your typical stream length, like if you had to put a ballpark on it, like I stream 6 hours.
So I try to do 5 days a week, 8 hours. But my mental health's kind of been taking a toll on me, so I'm not pushing myself. I feel that mental health is very important. Take the breaks when you feel you need them. Don't stream longer than you need to. So my streams have been a little shorter, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, kind of just depending on the day. But my schedule, I usually try to be on during the day. Like anywhere from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'll get on. I'm trying to start doing it earlier. Like my goal right now is to go live every day at like 10 a.m.
Gotcha.
But for me, I don't want to necessarily put a schedule into effect while there's so many things going on and everybody's mental health is kind of down. Because I feel if I make a schedule and I can't be there, I let my people down, I let my friends down, which is a lot harder for me to deal with than, you know, anything else. Like letting them down is like a big thing for me. So that's why I kind of avoid a schedule, just because of my mental health. And I like to go live when I feel best because they deserve my best. I will, you know, have my moods sometimes, but I really do try to get on like when I feel best, or if I'm not feeling up to it, I'll tell them in the Discord and they're like, no, you're not going live. You're staying like offline today and you're chilling. Like they will make me take days off and everything. But I'm trying to be in the daytime, mornings, like through 5 to 8 p.m. Like that's kind of where I'm shooting for, is like daytimes, afternoons.
So, I mean, obviously, like when you're talking about building it as a business set, like, obviously this is full time for you. So, like, you need to think about those decisions. Is there something that brought you into the position to say, you know what, I need to start streaming during the day? Was there something that you noticed, like, okay, Apex is more successful between these hours with these people, or, streaming for me is more successful during this set of time?
Well, I was doing overnights, which was wild. So I was like getting on at like 10 p.m. and going till like 8 a.m. Every day. It was good for my home situation at the time, because I was living with my boyfriend. We broke up and we weren't together. So it was easier for me to work while he slept and then sleep while he worked at the time. So my schedule kind of went into the overnights. And I did well. I was getting, over 100 viewers or so. My views were doing really well. The chat was doing really well. But it seemed to be taking a toll on my mental health. It was really hard to be on such an opposite schedule from the real world and real life. Like, I was going to bed at noon and waking up at like 8 p.m. And it was throwing me off, and I think it was putting me into a funk. And I think what got me, I went on a vacation, or I went somewhere, I can't remember where it was, and that got my schedule back to normal. Oh, it was PAX, I went to PAX. And that flipped my schedule to mornings, and when I came back from PAX, I continued to do mornings, and it just kept working really, really well. And when I talked to my partner manager, she felt that the reason that I was doing so well in the mornings is because, overnight, a lot of people are trying to chill and relax and be, low-key and laid back. That is not me. I'm very loud. So she was like, it's probably better because you're in the morning, people are waking up and they're starting their day, and you're loud and you're energetic and you have that energy people need to get through the day. And so I think that's why I do a little bit better during the days, because I am so loud and I'm so wild.
So Antoine had asked, what kind of things do you personally do to help with your mental health issues?
Time to myself. Like, it sounds weird, but like one of my favorite things to do is, just kind of chill in my house, light a candle. Like, the lights are really dim, you're kind of like chilling with the candlelight, and just like relaxing, like either just playing a chill game like Animal Crossing, or you'll see me in the Discord a lot. If I have a mental breakdown, I'm like, I'm going to be just chatting for anybody that needs to come, because they are really good with helping me, like if I need to talk about something or anything like that. But I love to just chill and relax. Like, Chris and I still live together, so it's really nice to have a support system by your side all the time. So, when I am going through these problems and I do need help, Chris is really good with, let's, play a board game or something like that, because I love board games. I'm such a nerd. Like, and we'll break out Monopoly or break out a board game and like play board games and have a couple drinks, and it'll get my mind off of stuff. I just like to do like relaxing, chill things. I'll sit on my patio for hours and just like look outside and hang out with my cat. And it just really calms me to kind of just sit down. And I know thinking is not the best sometimes, but if you could really put your feet in the ground and just take a second to take everything in and take out the outdoors, it's really, really nice, and it's a really good way to calm yourself down.
I would agree with that. I mean, sometimes I like to go out and just sit on the porch and just stare. Just relax, get away, just as a moment. I would say that I'm pretty firm on the mental health side, just because, again, sales, it always is ingrained me to just stay positive, regardless of whatever's going on, because the moment you take a step back, it might mean your life. Like, I might not be able to put food on my table. And so that had always kind of mentally trained me. And not that can be healthy. Sometimes that can actually be negative. But that is something that works for me. And I would wholeheartedly say that might not be beneficial for anyone else.
I cope in different ways. Like, I'll have days where I'm like, I'll even tell Andy, like, leave me alone. Like, I just need time for myself. And I will do that and be by myself. And then there's times where I'm like, guys, I really want to talk to you, can you guys be there for me? And then we gather the group and sit in Discord and play games, or, we play golf with friends a lot together, or, they started playing Minecraft Dungeons, and I'll sit there and I'll watch, and it's different, and there's different days. There's days where I could sleep all day and I can't get out of bed and I just watch TV. And then there's days where I do want to be outside and try to get that fresh air and get my mindset right. Or then there's times where I feel like I need my support system to get it right. So there's so many different ways people have to cope, and sometimes you need to learn which way you need to cope for which situation or for how you feel in that moment.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we're all different, and that's what the beauty is like, I think streaming allows us to continue to be unique over and over and over and over and over again, and allows us to be, safe and be okay with being ourselves, as you've stated, that, that could be one of your most successful points, is that being okay with being you. And it's something that I've brought up previously, is that, you can't love another person without loving yourself first and being okay with who you are first. And so I think that that's the heart of the conversation piece, is that's just, sometimes that's just who we are. That's who we continue to be. Someone had asked in chat, I know, kind of an awkward transition. Someone had asked in chat what your favorite kind of Lunchable is.
I don't discriminate against Lunchables. I love them all. All of them. Down to the ones that they don't make anymore. They used to make the cold cheeseburgers. We were talking about those the other day. They don't make those anymore. I would still kill for one of those again. I want a cheeseburger Lunchable.
Maybe it's shelf life. I don't know. Like, that's not my industry, but I would have to imagine that shelf life is probably part of it.
Yeah.
Bring back Dunkaroos.
Don't start. I've been talking about Dunkaroos for weeks, and they keep rubbing it in my face.
Dunkaroos, I miss those. Those are good. Like icing and chocolate ones. Oh, so good. All right. Do we have any other questions for Takedown/Tay?
Andy, I'm not eating a peanut butter sandwich dipped in milk. You're disgusting.
God. That's what?
Yeah, soggy bread. Gross.
Yeah, what is it, Desert Scout? What do you got?
Oh boy. He's like my real life troll.
Oh, yum.
Scout, it better be a good question. Okay, see what I mean? I know them so well, like the back of my hand. I knew it was coming, Scout.
Desert Scout, are we talking for large or small quantities of two? So then 5?
A pain in my ass.
Why NASCAR? There we go.
So when I was in college in Orlando, my best friend watched NASCAR. And I would watch a couple with him and not really get into it, but I would sit there and okay, my best friend's interested in this, so let me try to get interested in it. And then I ended up moving back down home with my mom and my stepdad. And my stepdad actually, he's a massive NASCAR fan, Kyle Busch. And he would always just watch the races every single Sunday. And I would sit down and watch the races with him. And I started to really enjoy it and like it a lot. And I went to my first race and I took my little sister and we had the best time. And I fell in love with NASCAR after going to my first race. And to me now, it kind of means a little more to me because my stepdad passed away, 2-3 weeks ago or so.
Sorry to hear that.
So it's nice to kind of have that memory with him, that he's kind of what got me into this sport, and he's the reason why I love this sport so much, even though we used to yell at each other because we hated each other's drivers. It's just it was a good time, and I'm happy that I have that story, about him now, because I was asked about that, and somewhere else about, why NASCAR, and I kind of love to tell the story because he was the one who got me into NASCAR, and it's a good way for me, to remember him and the good times we had together was when we would watch the races together. So
cool. What happened to Evil Morty?
What do you mean, Bardock? We don't know yet. Next season.
Have you? I would assume you've seen all of Rick and Morty then.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I would judge that quite probably you're a fan by the.
Yeah, I have a lot of Rick and Morty stuff all over the place. We have watch parties in the Discord, where we'll watch it and be in the voice chat together. I usually tell them to shut up until it's commercial, though. Nobody talk.
So actually, Interesting question, and I personally like it. I personally love it when everyone does this because of my personal viewpoint. You recently, well, not recently, a little ways back, but you have swapped over from a green screen style to like an in-room experience or more personalized experience. What was the motivation behind that?
My community. They asked for it. They asked, they wanted to see, you know, because we had been in the discussion, and so many people are like, you know, we want to see without a green screen. We want to see, you know, your house is more personable, it's more you. So it was something that they wanted, and I said, all right, let's give it a shot. And I actually love it. I mean, it's a work in progress, don't get me wrong. You know, I need another monitor, I need better lighting, you know. I was shoved in a corner before. There was nothing on these walls. Everything here was, you know, empty. So everything had to be, you know, put up, built, and like I had to try to make it so that I had a background because, you know, I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment and like my office is in my living room, like in a little corner. So it, you know, it's a work in progress. I have some, you know, Timmy bought me cubes that I can like hang up on my walls and set up and put my sponsors and stuff in. Scout is trying to buy me a $400 TakedownTV lamp for behind me for my birthday. It's a neon sign. It's like 30 to 40 inches. It says TakedownTV. They're getting that for my birthday. Like crazy. So they're like trying to like to help me build my thing because like they wanted to see it, but they know that it's a little tougher for my situation because I don't have the right lighting. I'm not in the best spot. I'm in a corner that, as you can see, like it's not ideal to have an LED strip in my frame at all. Like, but for right now, like that's all I can do, and we're making it work. But it seems to be successful so far. Everybody likes it. It's super personable, and like over time, it's gonna be more. There's a lot to do. You know, this is just like we threw this together because we wanted to see what we could do with it and try it. And over time, I think it'll look really nice, and people can see more stuff about me and learn more about me, you know, from my background. Because I get a lot of cool questions. Oh, you like Rick and Morty? Oh, they see my Apex Funko Pops in the back. They ask about that. Like it starts a conversation sometimes when people see some of the stuff that is in the frame that people wouldn't normally see with the green screen.
Well, and I love it personally because I think that it's something that allows us to delineate between a user that is there for the gameplay and a user that is there for the community. And it's something that I look for immediately anytime that I'm going to host someone. And maybe it's discriminatory, but it's just because I know that my community is looking for someone that they can communicate with, someone that they can interact with, and someone that they can drive that focus. And so when I see someone who's a green screen, not all the time is it true, but when I see someone with a green screen, it's a little less likely that their focus is around community. And like I said, that's not always true, but I think it's about the experience that you're creating, that it's us. It's not the game.
Yeah.
It's my life.
I've thought about like trying to do both. Like like an ideal thing would be able, like one day I want an Elgato green screen. Throw that bad boy up behind me. Okay, today's an Apex rank today. We're gonna get serious. Put it up. Type of thing. You know, today's Animal Crossing, or, you know, maybe a chill day in Apex, put it down, have your background. It's something that's definitely been thought about, but, you know, that's something that needs to be purchased. You know, I would have to buy it for the stream and whatnot. So time after, you know, it takes a lot of people don't realize how much money you put into everything.
Yeah.
So whether it's from the backgrounds, whether it's for, you know, luckily I have an amazing community. Scout bought these lights for my birthday, the LED lights, sent them to my house, and you know, people are sending me stuff for my walls. I'm getting, like, there's packages showing up every day right now that I'm being told not to touch until my birthday. And it, like, makes my heart so full because I didn't really get presents for my birthday growing up. It was, like, a check from my grandparents and my mom would, like, throw me a party. And my community, like, wanted to make sure I had stuff to open on my birthday. And it, like, I'm not going to cry. And it's crazy because, like, every single day there's new packages showing up at my door. And, like, I got messages this morning. They're like, yeah, there's like 3 packages coming tomorrow for your birthday. Don't open them. Don't touch them. And it's crazy because they all just like want to make me have a good birthday, and they just like want to be there. And they're just like friends. And like, you don't get that from a community if you don't build genuine relationships and friendships. And like the fact that they're doing this is like, it's crazy. Like Scout wanted to buy that $400, you know, lamp thing for me, and they put together a thing in the Discord, like, let's help raise money to get, you know, Taylor this lamp thing. And like they all just like they work together to do things to make me happier, to cheer me up, or to just bring joy into my life. And I'm super lucky to have found that, and so many people don't get that, and I honestly feel blessed every day to wake up with these people.
No, I definitely think that it's interesting because, you know, those relationships that we've built, those relationships that we've fostered, are really touching. And like I said, I've noticed it in these past couple weeks that it's just become more and more challenging to keep a straight set of eyes. That, you know, people are working really, really, really hard, and it's great to see, especially with the conditions of the world, the conditions of the environment that we're sitting in, to see those. That like it's just touching. It's life changing, and like I'm glad that we can be there for them, just the same way that they can be there for us. And it's that back and forth that we see in a community that really makes community hold true by definition. And it's good to see that. It's good to see that you have people that are there for you to continue to support you, just in the same way that you make their day and bring liveliness to it, or, you know, a lack of eardrums.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. It's fun. Do we have any other questions out there from the audience that allow us to, you know, find out more about Tay? I just want to make sure we're getting to everyone. I know we've got a couple people that just kind of rolled in here. I want to make sure we're getting to everyone out there.
Hi,
Which,
Snappy.
welcome, by the way, Snapshot. Hi. Do you like tigers?
I like tigers. Excuse me, doesn't Carol Baskin own your zoo now, sir? Can I love you? Is that the question? Always.
This is a full love support community and channel in both locations, hers and mine. And I think that love is available for all, unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
But come on.
Anyone at all? Anyone have anything else? Any other Discord or Slack? Interesting.
I don't even know what Slack is. So I don't know.
I would expect Smurf to roll in here with that. I'm sorry. Oh man. Oh yeah, actually, I'm. Thank you for bringing that up, Snapshot. Thank you. Yeah, waffles for me.
Waffles.
Have you had any resolution to some of the problems that you were having the other day? I know, obviously, you know, you took a major stance, and we talked about that earlier, taking a stance and just standing firm for what you believe in. Have you had any resolution to being able to not only go live, but not see a level of harassment?
Yeah, we actually were live yesterday for 5.5 hours. Didn't get kicked off. I was just tired and hangry, so I got off to eat.
Wonderful.
But, so when everything was happening, and I'm not the only streamer this is happening to. There are other streamers that are standing up for the Black Lives Matter that are getting DDoSed. I handled my situation right away. It took 6 to 7 hours after stream, trying to get a new IP address and like a VPN. And I don't know if you guys know who AC Pixel is, an amazing human being that does a lot of stuff for Mixer, you know, behind the scenes and like little cool tools that we could use. He actually reached out to me personally and said, I want to help you in this time while you're being DDoSed, and I want to help you, you know, for free, and let's get you a VPN and let's get it settled. And he made a VPN. I mean, this kid is an absolute genius. I'm floored every single day by things that I see from him. And he made me a private VPN that I could put right onto my computer right away so that I could get back to streaming, which was really cool. So they changed, I got my IP address changed, and then he made me a VPN, and I've been fine since, fingers crossed. But it was really lucky that he took the time to help me set it up, and he laughed at me while I couldn't figure it out because I'm computer illiterate, and he's just a really, really good person.
I appreciate your insight, by the way, Supa. Thank you. It's very helpful for chat. Thank you. Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, Tay. Obviously, there's some stuff going on in the background that I was just trying to follow along with, and it was entertaining. So sorry to follow up on some of the other questions. Pancakes or waffles?
I mean, I love both, but I think I'm more of a waffles person.
Yeah, waffle hype. I had waffles for breakfast actually.
I love waffles.
Chalky chippy. It's a good favorite. Chalky chippy and bacon.
All about it.
I feel like there was another one. Murph, I don't know if that's a real question. What bot do you use?
I just mix it up.
Yeah, he hates Mix It Up. We use Firebot originally because of the power of being able to run our scripting, and Mix It Up did not have it back when we started. So being able to control my lights and all that nonsense, it was not even possible. The Firebot was the only choice. It seems a little less resource hoggy, but Smurf has a very strong stance against Mix It Up. So, you know, there's that. Wait, I would have thought you were a French toast person. Is that to her or to me?
Oh, I do like French toast. It wasn't an option though.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, if French toast was in there, I would pick French toast.
So French toast or waffles, it would be French toast.
If it was like French toast, waffles, or pancakes, it's French toast all day.
Okay. But what about just French toast and waffles?
French toast.
Okay, all right.
I love French toast. If you add crepes in there, then crepes win. You guys are just getting too intense now.
So, like, the more French it gets, then the better the opportunity.
I love a good crepe. My mom used to make crepes when I was a kid, and like we would wake, I think it was like one day a week, and we would always get so excited for her to make crepes, and we would wake up and she would just make us crepes like with jelly rolled in it, and it was the most simple thing, but it was so good and I loved it, and it just kind of, crepes just remind me of that time, like waking up with my mom and my family and my sister and having breakfast together.
I mean, Bae, if that were the case, then you probably just aren't that big of a breakfast person, I would assume.
I love breakfast. I'll eat breakfast for dinner all day.
Yeah, that and tacos, delicious. It's breakfast and tacos, all day, every night.
I'll crepe you all over the place, okay? crepe, crepe.
Oh man. That's sad to hear about, by the way, Snapshot. I'm hoping that you work it out. Have you already tried NordVPN? NordVPN's pretty solid. I would recommend that. Any other questions? Anything else before we transition at all? I want to make sure everyone's getting an opportunity to ask anything. What makes me want to do these kind of web shows? That's an easy one. So we're a variety in the world, right? And there's so many different people that exist out there from all walks of life, and literally any semblance that we have of a story that we can hear from helps to educate me, helps to educate my community, helps to educate the Mixer community, helps to educate YouTube, and we can post those up and people can learn from other people. And be it for the growth of their own platform, be it for the growth of their own community, be it for the growth of them as an individual, whatever it may be, I still firmly believe that knowledge is the foundation for growth. And so accordingly, me finding an opportunity to seek knowledge from creators, from developers, from artists, from whatever it is, I think that creation is the foundation for us as a society to grow into the future, because it allows us the freedom to express our opinions. And as long as we're doing it with respect, then we can continue to grow together. So the web shows, the interviews are all about discovering different people. And I wouldn't say that I necessarily go out of my way to, ideally, Sammy, I wouldn't say that I necessarily go out of my way to look or deny specific people. But there are very, very specific people that I feel like help benefit the diversity that I'm trying to find and the diversity that I'm trying to discover and help educate on. So I think it's beneficial. I think that it's helpful, but I'm not I probably wouldn't deny many people, but if I felt like we already covered a specific topic, I mean, everyone can have a story. I would want to talk with them and see what's going on. If I feel like we already covered it before we circle back around and then continue it back over again. So like, I want to hear from more developers from video games because they've got their own story on how they tell stories. Thank you. I appreciate that, Playboy Kaz. Playboy Kaz? I'm going with that, right? Playboy Kaz? I'm just gonna...
I call him Kaz.
Okay, Kaz. Thanks, Kaz. Just Kaz. Just Kaz. All right. But no, I think that, you know, like there's a lot of diversity that exists out there in the world, and we need to see that in order to understand what people go through and what struggles they go through to become who they are and to learn what they know. Because again, I don't know everything. It would be asinine for me to even come to that idea that I have all the answers. So the only way that I can discover the answers and help other people discover the answers is to seek people out like Takedown, to seek people out like Migos Moo, Metro Birdman, all these people that we've brought on for the show thus far, Psycho, to find out what people go through, and really help us just be better people at the end of the day. That's my focus. I'll be blessed to be in that position. Do we have any other questions? Supa hates me, I guess, because I play paladins. So Supa, I would assume that means like the next time we actually have like a convention or a event or anything like that, and I go around to get a controller signed again, you won't be doing that just because I play paladins. Are you gonna throw up in your mouth when I walk up to you? That gonna be a thing? Because like, I play it on every system. Sorry, I play it wherever my friends are. I mean, it's cross-platform too, so like, why not? You're not old enough to have played on every system? Yeah, I suppose, because a couple of them could have been out on 83, but the beauty is that those systems continue to exist, so you can actually go back and play them. There's even a museum, I believe, in what, New Mexico, where you can go back and play a bunch of different systems that still exist. People always, thankfully, think that I'm younger than I actually am, so that's a blessing. That's a blessing. Well, that's fantastic. That's a great story. Because then the diversity is just unreal. Do we have any other questions on Takedown, on me, on streaming, on anything else? Wait, how tall is Tay or how tall am I? I'm 6 even.
I'm 5'6".
I don't know if Desert Scout is shocked that we're small or Desert Shout. Who would win in a fight? Wait, what?
Who's fighting?
Like physically? Like, wait, what? Had to fight each other over the death over waffles? I would let her eat. I would. So I want to preface.
Take out my earrings real quick.
I want to preface. I probably, but yeah, why can't we share the waffles? I would probably let her. And the only reason is because I was always raised that leaders eat last. And I'm not trying to section myself out to say that like I'm a leader, but leaders eat last. So you make sure that your people are fed, you make sure that the people around you are fed before you, and then you eat.
Yeah, I'm eating waffles, Snap, damn.
Yeah, I mean that too, but magnificent, it boils under the same pretense. Like, you should make sure that, you know, women are being fed first, that other people are being fed first. You eat what you need, and I'll just take whatever else is left. Because I'll go with that. Because that works for me. That's what I think.
Oh, damn.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
They're wild. This is normal.
Snapshot.
Oh.
All right. Do we have any other questions? Any last questions? I mean, we're 18 plus. We're 18 plus. I mean, we do know you, Snap. We do. I mean, pretty sure everyone, most of the people here probably at least have heard or seen some sort of Twitter post from you at some point in their life. Their life here. Anyone? Last questions. Last call. "18 plus, you say?" I mean, hey, that's who Snapshot is, right? She's allowed to do it. She's an adult. She's having fun.
Gosh, don't act like you don't know me, Scout. You knew this.
Wait, what was the answer?
Munster cheese is my favorite.
Why specifically Munster? Is there like an application purpose to Munster that you just like, oh my god, it's such a great sandwich maker?
I don't know. I just really like it. Like Havarti with dill is really good too, but Munster is like, if I am gonna have sandwich stuff in my house, that's the cheese I have to have for my sandwiches.
See, like I've always been a cheddar person, but like there's this one place that was near me and they used to do 20-year-old aged cheddar. It was like $50 a pound or something outrageous. So you'd only buy like an eighth of a pound or whatever. But oh my God, it was so delicious. Like melt in your mouth and punch you upside the head. Don't expect it sharp, like just real sharp cheddar. It was fantastic. I loved it. But yeah, that's what I would say. Because she has not had mango habanero Gouda yet. Mango habanero Gouda? Publix roast beef or chicken tender sub with Munster. That's my jam. So we've got a lot of Munster users out there. I feel it. I feel it. Munster lovers. Cool. Cool. Well, I feel like we've pretty much wrapped it up. I think you know, to take everything away, I would say that, you know, Takedown stands for a lot, and it's been a phenomenal experience hearing her insight, hearing her viewpoints on not only the platform, but you know, the community that she creates and the work that she puts in and day out to make sure that people are having a better life. And that they can continue to grow. And, you know, from charity work to just the time invested into the people that make up her day, she is a pillar of this streaming platform, a pillar of this community, and a pillar in society that help to represent good-hearted people and what we can do for each other. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you investing the time in all of the people that are here and continuing to invest in the people in your community to make them feel absolutely fantastic. So thank you, Takedown.
Thank you for having me. It was an honor.
No, absolutely. It's our treasure, our blessing. But either way, we will be transitioning into a break. And Takedown, I can't thank you enough for all the time that you've invested with us. And yeah, we're hopefully going to be seeing some more people out there. If anyone has anyone that they think that might be good for the show or might be good to come on and tell us a little bit, please feel free. Let me know. Get in touch with me, and we can see what we can do to make that happen. Takedown, big hearts out, big love. And yeah, this has been a phenomenal experience. And I love it. I love every single time. They're all fantastic moments. Wait, sorry, what was that?
That was a really good time. Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. Like I said, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. So, thank you again, Takedown TV. Let me get a shout out for you. That way, everyone knows. All right, you guys can feel free. Click on her name over there in the chat. Scroll on down to that beautiful little heart and make sure you fill it up, because she is one of the best people that exist out there, and by no means, no stretch of imagination. Second every minute. So please feel free, show her some love, show her some appreciation, and stop by sometime. It's entertaining to watch her play. And thank you so much for being here.
Hey guys.
Have a great day.
Yes, you too.
So guys, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us as we had the wonderful opportunity to meet Takedown, to show you guys Takedown, and to just spend some moments together, asking a couple questions, getting to know her, getting to know what the struggle is like out there, and what growth looks like as a potential piece. Yeah, much love to you as well, Takedown, always. But it was such a pleasure to meet her, and I think that there are a lot of people out there that exist on this platform that will continue to push the narrative of personal growth and personal interest that help us, all of us, be better people day in and day out. And so I would love to urge every single one of you to go out and try and find as many people as you can that that do that for us, because the supporting those platforms. No, I'm not leaving anyone. I'm just taking a break for a bit. And then I'm coming back. But urge you to go out and find more people on those platforms, because if we can continue to support those channels and support those communities, then they will continue to grow. We'll nurture them, and they'll see the level of engagement. They'll see the level of support out there that help this platform to succeed, and to other people, maybe change a life, save a life. So it's a lot. It's a lot. I appreciate that, Snapshot. We'll be around for most of the day, because it's obviously changed one. And she continues to use those opportunities, Takedown, that is, she continues to use those opportunities to pay it forward and bring all of that beauty to someone else. Bring all of that opportunity of love and support to build upon the people of tomorrow. But it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal to see that day in and day out. Adult, I do what I want. I mean, most adults do. Sometimes it gets them in trouble, and sometimes it doesn't. But they have fun. They have fun doing it, and that's what counts. I'm so technical. That's like me to a T.